upon a time.
To collectors and creators and lovers of pop culture and toys, got together on the internet and they started making noise. So everybody, let's join Jesse Arnold and his buddy Curtis Akerman, because when indulging in fine geekery, it's always best to bring a friend
Or two.
Everybody loves shooting the shell. Let's start shooting the shell. You're gonna love it now. Let's start shooting the shell. Just might make you say wow. Let's enjoy some fun conversation. We'll be shooting the shell around the nation. Let's start shooting the shell.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Shooting the Shelf, episode number 25 of season 4. Curtis has given me some sort of European hand signals. I'm not sure what that means.
No, sometimes you bring a friend or two.
We're doing that already. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites is when we got the or two.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. What is it? We're right at this is the anniversary week, I guess. Officially for the show. So middle of the year, all that jazz. So
So 3 full years at this point.
3 full years at this point. Yeah. Sorry.
Very cool.
My brain started like going down like memory lane, and I wasn't talking about it, so I didn't get to take anybody with me. But hey, we're here.
Street.
We're live.
Yeah.
Well, is it? Oh, I might have been going the wrong way. Well, anyway, we're here. We had a great time. I think we had a great time. Curtis had a great time because he won. I got screwed over because some of the questions were answers were totally bogus. But
talking
on
about
the
the
EuroLegions
EuroLegions episode, earlier.
Yeah. So go watch that. I'm not competitive. It's just the accuracy of it is all that bugs me.
Gotcha.
I'm fine being wrong, but I wasn't.
Well, they said that you
on
couldn't argue with Richard during the show, but now you've got all week.
Right.
You can hit him up and whatever you need to do.
Well, I figured after like 5 bottles of wine and a half a glass of water, and as late as it was, he was going to bed. So just kidding. It was only 1 bottle of wine, or the remains of a bottle of wine. Anyway, Curtis, who do we got out in the chat tonight?
I had a good time. It was a fun time.
It was fun, even though I lost and you won. Not that it was just between us, but like we both. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
No, I get you. We've got Crom 316 out there. What's up, Mark? We've got Rob Zamora in the house. Blake, aka Recon Rage, the star of the new OffWorld, now with 100% more rage. So we got Brian Carr in the house. A1 Dave Orkin. We got Wholesome Warlock. Jordan is here. Twizzler 19. Welcome. Stacy Lynn saw a post from her today. She's been on an awesome workout journey. She's been doing a great job. She's been kicking ass, taking names, and then also finding time to paint on Saturday mornings and doing a great job. She's been doing some awesome painting. So, yeah. Darla Akerman, I know her. Patrick Boyle, he was in the chat on the EuroLegions and won some set that they're going to be putting out this year. So,
which may or may not involve buttholes. If I
could, it could. Yeah. Yep. Kirby is here. Yep. Or exactly 2. Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Tanya's in the house. Tanya McCoy. Thank you very much for joining. We got Kevin McCoy here. Special shout out to Kevin McCoy. I announced earlier this week the paintbrushes that I've got coming in that I've been working on. Kevin really put together pretty much the whole box art for me, designed it, and just did an awesome job. And I really appreciate it. He is a great dude. We got Kent Pool here. Kent Pool Collects. He has been doing a lot of videos lately, a lot of toy hunting, as it were. He's been looking for those Superman end caps lately. So we got Jesse Marshall here, the other Jesse that spells it the right way. So David Williams, and he did say good morning as well as Jesse.
That's why. Yeah.
Jen Sayek is here, aka Lucky Sprinkles. We got Joe Gonzalez in the house. Mr. C is here. Welcome, sir.
Mr. C.
We got Carver Customs here. Brian Lynn. I believe Brian and Stacy are going to be on the Legion's Ladies this upcoming week. So that should be a lot of fun. Yep. Dub3 is in the house. James Studio Samudio. Oh. All right. Guaisagway is here. Jesse, did you happen to hear about the wonderful Echevarria dream last night?
Roberto.
Apparently there was some dreaming in the Echevarria house, and they went on a trip and they rode a Curtis choo-choo on the trip. So in their dreams. What do you think of that?
Collectively?
They were collectively taking a trip on the Curtis choo-choo. Yeah.
No, I mean, they all had the dream?
I believe it was G, but I like to think that they were all
okay.
probably thinking it. They,
Well,
sometimes
at
you
least,
don't remember
as long
your
as
dreams.
it was the person that doesn't
So.
make anything up.
Yeah, that's true. I am is here. The rest is silent. Welcome, sir. Legion's Lair official in the house says, "What's up, my peeps?" We got Action Figure Girl, so that's 2 Orkins, 2 McCoys, and 3 Lins for anybody keeping track. Lins can't be stopped. There's too many of them. Broder of Bjorngar. Schmerby's here. Hope that Schmerber's feeling better. We were supposed to have a New to Mythics live today. He was not feeling so hot, so he took the morning off. Hope that he is recovering nicely. We love Schmerber's. They did have a nice double jointed yesterday. I wasn't able to catch it live, but I caught the replay, and it was a good episode. Kevin Hamiltoes is in the house. Says, "Happy anniversary. What did you get each other?" As always, Jesse's present to me is his presence, and mine vice versa for him. So we are each other's present. So there you go. Jordan says the Quizmaster's never wrong. That is apparently the rules. Rosedale Studios in the house. We've got Hank here with us. Scrolling. William Husted is here. He gave us also a happy anniversary. So Kent, the thing with like the YouTubes and stuff and the StreamYard is that you don't have to be in the same place. So even though we were on the EuroLegions podcast on YouTube, which really isn't a podcast, it's very confusing. We were all in our respective homes and places and whatnot. So we didn't actually go to Europe. The only ones that were in Europe were Richard Jonas and Mal and John. So let's see. Scrolling. We got J-Mac here. J-Mac, sorry, 77. Forget those first 76.
Still Europe?
Huh? Who what now? Oh, you think they left? They're out?
Well, I know they're not part of the European Union anymore.
Oh, we did get a WEPA from G. WEPA! Jesse's not. He's looking up something, but he'll play the sound effect in a second, guys.
I already played it.
Oh, he said it was Monica. So Monica had the dream, but I would like to think that G also had the dream, but he just didn't remember it. Is kind of what I'm thinking. So, scrolling. Let's see. We've got a bunch of people talking. And Arthur's is here.
So,
yeah,
Europe. Yeah, the continent. Yeah. Never mind.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean,
Arthas is here. I did finish up a How'd They Do That with Arthas, so it'll air in a couple weeks. And I saw that he was in the studio today. I wasn't able to be there because of the EuroLegion stuff, but it looks like he had some folks in there and was running it. So I appreciate it, Arthas. Thank you very, very much.
Spoiler alert, Arthas was an answer to a question on the chat.
He was.
The quiz show.
Yeah, he was an answer to one of the questions. Oh, and apparently Kent says that Stofers identifies him as a family of 10. So there you go. And Cincy John is here. So, but that is it for the chat. I am really excited for tonight for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's the Or 2, which I love the Or 2 episodes, right? But it's also a very special episode because this is Titties on the Shelf. And I'm really excited for it. People have been talking about it all week. So it's exciting stuff. Because not only do our guests come in twos, but so do Titties. They come in pairs. Yeah. Unless it's the Total Recall lady, then it's the threes. But you know, we might hear a little Total Recall later. You never know. If we have anybody on that maybe has an Arnold that they could do. So don't boo our guests. We don't do that.
That wasn't to the guests.
Oh, gotcha. Well, you want to bring them out?
Yeah, so everybody give a digital round of applause, welcome things to the one and only Legion's. Wait, which one is it? Lair guys. I always get those confused. The Legion's Lair guys. Mike Jones and Brad Caspar.
Basically, yeah. We'll say
that was
right.
that was great. Real quick, let's just get this out of the way, okay? Titties.
There you go.
Right, you want the Arnold to do titties. I do titties right off the bat. So we get that out of the way.
Maybe nothing greater on the face of the earth than a nice pair of titties. And when I constantly make fun of Brad's figure because of its pauldrons, I'm actually giving it a compliment because his figure has a nice rack.
You're somewhat jealous inside, right? A little bit. Yeah.
Little.
Mike's jealous because his figure comes with everything. Blow darts. He's got crap loaded up everywhere.
But no flesh, so no titties.
Yeah.
Someone, I can't remember who it was, did point out if you go to Source Horseman and turn Mike's figure around and look at Mike's back, he actually has little titties.
I don't think
back
that
titties, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's one way to solve this problem.
Around.
You just
But I
take
think
Brad's pauldrons and put them on Mike's character.
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my Neve and throw Brad's pauldrons on her, and I think she's going to look badass.
Dave Orkin is here in the chat. He says that 3 is better than 2 when it comes to titties. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I would have to disagree there, unless I was in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Then it would kind of be cool. I don't know what I would do. I kind of freak. That would be.
You only got 2 hands, so what do you?
Well, you got a mouth too.
There you go. See, you're always thinking. That's
you got to motorboat the middle and hold the sides. So it's just, all I can think about is what movie was that? Where he says, "You motorboating son of a bitch, you."
I know it's Vince Vaughn, but I can't remember.
Is it Wedding Crashers? I think
it might be. It might be. That's Jesse when you put cake in front of him. That's why they, G and his family, they avoided letting Jesse anywhere near the cake for Dub 3's birthday. They said, "Hey, Jesse, it was nice of you to come and visit." They shook his hand, gave him hugs and everything, and then as soon as he left, they're like, "All right, cake, everybody." So, yeah, because he would have like that. fucking chocolate everywhere. So,
well, they actually, when they were putting Brad's figure together, they honestly, Eric went to Jeremy, and Eric says, I don't think we're going to give Brad any weapons because his pauldrons, his secret power is motorboating the other characters and giving them concussions and, killing them that way.
He kind
But
of has swirls on him,
it's
so it's
good
a
that
high
the
thing.
figure has to be at a certain price point. So it is at a certain price point. So we have to give him the weapons. So I think.
Oh, yeah, there they are, baby.
I mean,
those little itty bitty titty committees.
I hadn't checked it out, but I mean,
that doesn't even count.
Oh, dude,
I think-
zoom in on that.
I think you guys all came from the same health class as the European guys, because they were commenting on stuff looking like things of anatomy that.
Well, Brad's are clearly double D's.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you got a training bra, Mike. I mean, Brad is, Brad's got you there. So
I almost feel like someone can reverse these pauldrons so they can go to the front. We just need pegs for the front.
reverse engineering
and reverse it.
Just
and
turn it
there you
around
go.
and turn the head around. Just
Or that.
Or you could do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around.
But
So,
look, Mike's figure is decked out. Look at all those little who knows what's in those little pouches right there? Who knows?
Dude, Stagular's a master of every weapon.
He's got a lot of stuff. He's definitely
and then he's got this look too. Like, come on, that's awesome.
Mike's got a
Okay, so this look right here,
his curb.
this look right here, when Scapular goes into his Amir Kaspar look. Okay. You know how Mythos is surrounded by water? Okay. Well, I'm telling you right now, when all the women see him in this look, the oceans rise by probably a foot in this.
I can see that.
Easy. So this is just beautiful.
I
Look
don't
at that.
understand.
Well,
G
Explain it as you
confirming
would to a child.
exactly. G's confirming my story because he says he's going to get Jesse his own cake because clearly nobody wants to share after Jesse motorboats the hell out of that cake. So he gets his own. All right. So at the beginning of the show here, we do a little thing called shelf selections. And that's where Jesse and I picked out some photos that inspired us this week so that, we can show you some cool Instagram accounts that you can follow to make your Instagram cooler and highlight a few folks that are out there doing some awesome stuff. So here we go. I don't know the order, but I'm going to assume that I'm going to start with me, and I am. So this is an up-and-coming customizer, Emile Weichman. And I believe this guy is in Michigan right now. I'm not sure why anybody would visit there, but I believe that's where he is at. And he did this amazing custom of Serpentor, did this tribute, and I wouldn't have thought at all to do this, but it's fantastic, man. I love how he used that Ninian head, for the kind of the hood for Serpentor. And I didn't even know what this was. I knew that my wife had worked on a cape. I think she worked on a couple capes for a meal, but I didn't want to know what it was because I wanted to see it when it got revealed. And this is apparently one of those capes. So she worked on it. We sent the stuff to Lynn. Lynn had to, send a package to Emile with some other stuff. So this has been like many, many months in the making, where I knew that Darla made something for him, but I had no idea what. And this thing is absolutely fantastic. So, Jesse, thoughts on this Emile Weichman?
Sorry, the thoughts that are coming to mind aren't about the post. So this is really cool. I mean, Emile is phenomenal. I'm trying to figure out how that whole head situation happened. I'm assuming, well, we don't have to dissect it right now. Let's just appreciate it for the beauty and the awesomeness that it is. So yeah, it's amazing.
I believe it is one of the face plates for the Atlas.
No, Attila.
Or Attila.
Attila.
And then I mean, I don't think it would just naturally work inside I don't know what kind of work he did to make that work, but
Yeah, he do some sort of modification. It's so beautiful.
yeah, he killed it.
It's almost like seamless. I mean, he's just a master at his craft.
For sure.
Yes.
And I want to say, Emil, his customs, correct me if I'm wrong, but he tries to use all Legion's parts. And then if he has to modify anything, he uses the sculpting. Am I right in saying that or no?
Yeah, he's done. There's been a few customs or tributes that he's used, like heads that he sculpted.
Yeah.
But with the exception of a head, for the most part, yes, he does try to use Legion's parts. He has done like other soft goods besides Legion's, but yeah, he tries to pretty much stick to Legion's parts. Because it's just like a challenge where he goes, okay, I'm going to make this character. What are the parts that I could use to kind of make that character? Which is really cool.
Even if you're not a G.I. Joe fan and you know nothing of G.I. Joe, I would assume that person would see this and say, that is freaking awesome. But to know that it's a tribute to Serpentor, I'm a big G.I. Joe fan. I mean, he hits stuff out of the park, and he's done other G.I. Joe figures before, and he's been pretty spot on. This here, though, I think is like another level of that, because it seems simple in one way, but then at the same time, it's just perfect. Absolutely perfect. And like you said, I wouldn't think to do that, but it fits perfectly. And like you said, I don't know how he got the head in there or how he stretched the mouth, or if it's even that big, or what he did cut it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did some sort of modifications. I don't know if it's just you heat it up and shove it in there, or if he had to do something else, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know if he, like you said, cut it off the joint and then hinged it differently or something. I don't know.
Usually if he does like some sort of crazy modification, he'll like post that on his Instagram too. Like you might see it a few days later where he'll show you like kind of how something came together. So stay tuned. It's definitely an Instagram to follow because he does amazing stuff. I also love the mix of like mythic and cosmic parts. Like you can see it's got a cosmic kind of crotch piece. It's definitely got the one bracer is cosmic with that blade on it. The other one is mythic. So I love just the mixture of parts and stuff too. He just does a fantastic job. So
I need a little bit of an education here. I'm not a huge Joe fan. Where does Serpentor come in the hierarchy of the bad guys? Is he above Cobra Commander, below him, below Destro? What is this guy?
Well, it kind of depends on when you're talking about, but for the most part, yeah, he's the top dog. Like basically the other people in Cobra kind of conspired to create Serpentor to give them a leader that wasn't crappy. so they took DNA from a bunch of historical people and put it together and tried to create the ultimate leader, which is what Serpentor is. So
it'd probably go what? Serpentor, Cobra Commander, Destro?
Kind of, but like basically when Serpentor took power, basically tried to kind of kick Cobra Commander to the curb. So it's almost like it's Serpentor and then, Cobra Commander is, kicked to the side, but he worked his way back in, I think Cobra Commander is better as a number 2 anyways. He's kind of got that Starscream feel to him, just kind of a slimy, weaselly guy. Yeah. Yeah. But I know there's certain people that don't like the Serpentor character at all. I absolutely love it. I love the whole idea of, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, they collected the DNA from all these people in history and they're like making somebody out of it. And I don't know, it just seemed really cool. So
it's actually a neat little lore storyline.
For sure. All right, next one I believe is going to be one of Jesse's. Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
badass reviews.
I was confused because it's Superman, which normally would be mine, but I didn't remember picking this. So, yeah.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
This is one of mine. This is our buddy at the Badass Reviews. This is the new McFarlane movie Superman. I just thought, the low angle, the clear blue sky, well, mostly clear. I just thought it was a really fun shot.
Yeah.
Someone just
Very
enjoying
hopeful.
the toy, just having fun, and I'm super excited for this movie, and this picture just got me a little more amped up for it. So I just thought it was a really cool shot.
Yeah, I've seen some of the other figures that are out. I know Spin Masters has some, that whole figure line, and I've seen the other McFarlane one where he's like, it's called Battle Damaged, but basically it's like they handed a Superman figure to an auto mechanic and just got like dirt and grease all over it. But this one looks great. I think this is I think it's not exclusive, but it's like a deluxe figure where it comes with different face plates and stuff. It's the one that comes with the Crypto the dog. And it looks great. This is a great shot. I love the blue sky, like you said. It's just super hopeful. And Carlos is the best smelling man in the community by far.
Really is.
So, yeah. Brad, thoughts on this one?
Obviously, McFarlane puts out quite a bit of stuff. And sometimes I know McFarlane can get a bad name or a bad rap. But this is what I like about McFarlane is they can get the characters' faces spot on sometimes where I mean, literally it's spot on. So I definitely like that aspect of it for sure. It's a great shot. Carlos did amazing. Everything about it is great. I agree with Jesse with the sky the way it is. That one little cloud right there.
Yeah, and junk right in the middle of the screen.
Yeah. You can tell he's packing a Superman package. It's I can only imagine what's under there. I mean, he could probably do whatever he wants to do with it. It's like Mr. Incredible or something at this point.
Yeah, the dick stands for hope. So
that's Elastigirl.
All right, Mike, thoughts on this one?
Well, I'm not a big superhero person, so the figure doesn't do much for me, but the photo is wonderful. Love how it comes from the bottom up.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's taken right outside. So it's all natural. Very, very good photo. Love it.
Yeah, I normally am not a big fan of like movie figures. Either the likeness is off or it's just something that I don't know. I don't have the nostalgia for, so I don't need it in my collection. But this thing looks great. I really do think I'm gonna have to pull the trigger on this one. So, all right, next one. This is one of my picks. This is Law.Abe.79. This gentleman has been posting in the Cabal recently. He's been doing a lot of great paint jobs, and I saw this one this week, this dwarf, and it was just so good, man. I loved like the depth, like just kind of this, grimy, dirty character, and the highlights in the beard, and the way that the armor and the beard came out, and that cigar and stuff. Like it just really, he did a great job of making this look like hyper realistic. And I just wanted to highlight his work because I think he's doing a fantastic job. So, Jesse?
Yeah, the textures and the colors on this are incredible. I mean, it looks like a head that you would see as like a prop for a movie or something, that the prosthetics or something, it doesn't look like it should be a toy. It's very, very well done. Yeah, amazing stuff.
Awesome. Mike, we'll go to you next.
Love everything about it. I mean, this is amazing. What a paint job. What a sculpt. It's beautiful. Imagine this on any Legion's body, any Legion's dwarf body. Look amazing. And the cigar just screams character.
Yeah. I mean, we've got such great sculptors in this community that are doing work like this, and it's not like they're not doing it for a video game company. They're not doing it for Hasbro or Mattel. Like they're just doing it kind of as a hobby for the most part for a lot of these guys. And man, they're just killing it. Like the work that goes into a sculpt like this, I can't even imagine. So, Brad.
Yeah, no doubt. The sculpt, I mean, if you just imagine this blank, it's still an amazing piece. So like you could walk by at Legion's Con and see it blank and be like, dude, this is like something where like you see something blank, a blank head, and you want it, and like this is your like envision for it. Like you already like know what you want it to look like, and this is it. He really hit it out of the park. I agree with Jesse with the textures and the whatnot. It's definitely, and I think it could be on a 1.0 body or whatever. It would be awesome. So definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a very symbiotic thing. Like a good sculptor will put details in there that helps a painter because it helps, like when you're dry brushing stuff, it catches those details. But then on the flip side, so a sculptor can make a painter look better, but on the flip side, a good painter can make a sculpt look better as well because they bring out those details. They hit certain things. Like you look on this one, and even like the individual eyebrow hairs, right? Like you got the highlights in there. It's not just like one solid color across. Like you can see like where the individual hairs are and where light would be hitting it. So yeah, fantastic work.
The wrinkles on the forehead. I mean,
Carlos, not sure if you caught it, but we just showed one of your pictures that Jesse had for a shelf selection here. So great job. Jesse, there's yours.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, this one I had picked for last week, and I just don't think I got it in there. M_Win Forrester.
Nice.
I don't know what the story is here. I don't know if this is, maybe trigger warning for some folks. This might be a little more disturbing than our normal fare. But I just thought the setup of the shot.
What I heard, Jess, is currently what you don't see above his head and all that. He's currently being motorboated by Schroeder's cauldrons. I believe.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. It's weird that the shadow didn't show up for that part.
So maybe, it's the ghost of Broder's titty pauldrons. But yeah, great shot, great colors, great lighting, the shadow effect. It's very cool.
So I'm glad you selected this one. I think it is a great shot with the shadow in the background and stuff. I will say there was a little bit of kind of drama around this one. The individual that posted this looks like on Instagram it's M_Win Forrester. He had posted in the Cabal and it got removed, and then made a post, kind of wondering why it got removed and asking about that. And in the original post, he said, "Hope this doesn't offend somebody, but I thought this was a cool shot," and posted it. Well, typically, if you have to start your post off with "I hope this doesn't offend somebody," you're probably going to offend somebody. And it's not, it's just, and it's a great shot. I think it's well done. It's fabulous. It should be recognized. So that's why I'm glad it got put here. But just keep in mind, folks, like in the Cabal, it is considered a family-friendly environment, and that means that there's people are now bringing their wives and their kids to Legion's Con. They're joining the community, and so something like this could be seen as I mean, you don't know. Somebody may be struggling with different things and maybe contemplating taking actions that would maybe resemble something like this, and so therefore something like that, if it's a questionable call, it's probably going to get removed. That being said, much like we talked about Dub 3 last week with the AI stuff, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have its place. It doesn't mean that it's not great art. It's just you got to find the right place for it. So I am glad that this was selected. I think that the shadow work in the background and just it is a very powerful shot, and I think it's well done. So
I could see where I could see both sides, obviously. With that, I always try to play the devil's advocate with something like this. Yeah, if obviously if this touches the home on some people, then definitely scroll quickly or say something or whatnot. But that necessarily, I mean, he doesn't necessarily. This may not be self-inflicted.
Correct.
I mean, somebody could have put him there.
Correct.
In that position, and that's where I would twist it or try to play both sides. But great shot.
Yeah, amazing shot.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, those are Steve Buscetti's legs after Dusty Standiford beats him in the arm wrestling competition.
Yeah, it could be a specter, could be a ghost, and he's just floating. Yeah. And we're just not seeing the rest of it. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just one of those things that if it's ever questionable, it's probably going to get removed from there, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have its place. So
yeah.
Mike?
Well, your best photos tell a story.
Yep.
Without words. Look at Trevor, look at Nate Strong, all the photographers within our community. It tells a story. And not only that, it then gets you to think, what's going on here? It gets your imagination going. So this thing's excellent.
Yeah.
I agree with Steph. Art is meant to react. Yeah.
100%. But that being said, there's also certain places for that to be, right? Sure. Yes, this is art, but you probably wouldn't hang it up in an elementary school, right? So just, yes, absolutely. It's great. And it has its place. And I'm glad it got recognized here for sure. And if you guys aren't following this account, make sure you do. It's pretty awesome. So, all right. Next one is one of mine. And this was like several people on here. But the first one on here was is Arch Rival Toy Art. Arch Rivals Toy Art. But there was like 4 other collaborators on this and stuff. And I like the background, like this fiery background. Like these guys are just like sitting in hell and they're just reading this like Legions magazine together and like looking at the pictures and stuff. I don't know. I just thought this was really kind of humorous and cool. So Jesse.
Yeah, when I was loading the slides together, this cracked me up that, they're just all gathered around and there's like skeletons below them. And yeah, I don't know what's going on or where they are, but this is hilarious. I love it. Great use of so much of the Undead builder in so many different varieties is great.
Yep. Mike?
It's absolutely fun. An absolutely fun shot. Yeah, hats off. Hats off there. And all the skeletons, undead necronominous figures, that's even better. But sitting in hell and then just having a great time. Wow.
I don't know how they did the little Legions magazine. Yeah. I just think that's so freaking cool. It's just funny. Brad?
The magazine definitely, I think, obviously the mythic characters in the diorama and the scene is great, but the centerfold of this picture is that magazine. And it just gets you thinking of what all those skeletons remind me of like Crypt Keeper heads. Like from Tales from the Crypt, and they're all like trying to fight over which one's going to read the magazine or something. Even if they know how to read it, but they want to look at the pictures,
Oh, Trevor says the Legions magazine is a real thing, but it's not about mythic legions. So interesting.
Oh, no shit.
Didn't know that. He said it is about figures and photography. So okay, well that makes it even cooler, I think. So
hello, kitties.
Yeah, beautiful. Jesse.
This was one I had already picked, and like within 5 minutes of picking it, I think Dub sent it to me as a recommendation. I was like all over it. This is Toy Immersion, one of my favorite Metallica songs. Side note, and just a great shot. All these different characters charging into battle. It just, I love it. You even got that that weird overexposed lighting coming on. It feels like it's something. I know there weren't skeletons necessarily on the Pelennor fields in Return of the King, but it feels like the lighting from that battle in that movie. And I really love this.
Looks like Mr. C. He's probably talking about this last photo. Said I just shipped that diorama to him a couple weeks ago, and he's been putting it to good use. So,
Well,
yeah, I mean,
cool.
it looks fantastic, man. You
Nice.
killed it. So, all right, now to this one. Yeah, I love the like dust cloud. Kind of at the as they're like running, and you just got it. You're kicking up all this dust and dirt and debris. And then the various ones in here. That thoracis, man, the soft goods on that is so cool. I love the rib cage sticking out on that and stuff. And then you got the skeleton raider in the background. This is just a lot of fun. I love the movement, love the the dust and dirt, and yeah, it's just a great job. I mean, Toy Immersion always has amazing photos, but yeah, this is really cool. Brad?
I like how he put what that looks like, the Skeleton Legion Builder one, like the OG. He's like, they're like, yeah, get out there, brother, get out, you go first.
Yeah.
They're like, you've been around here, you know what's up. Yeah, we'll follow you.
For sure.
No, it's a great photo. I like everything about it. And it almost looks like, is that Malleus way back there in the corner there?
Yep, you got Malleus back there. And then you got a deluxe Legion Builder over on the side, and you got Walter over here, and he's definitely sending that Legion Builder guy first, but he's right behind him.
Yeah, that's what I said. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah.
There's plenty of you to go around. We got more of you. But yeah, great photo. And obviously the music was kick ass with the photo.
Heck yeah. Mike?
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful photo. And I still, to this day, I mean, I take photos every once in a while, but I have no idea how these people can do this. It's just phenomenal. But
crazy, right?
they know their craft, man. And I love how he kind of puts Walter in the foreground, and then he frames his favorite character, Malleus, in the background.
Yeah.
That is cool. All right. Next one is one of my picks. This is collectors.orbit. And I'm not normally an aliens guy. Like the whole, I don't know, anything like where something's getting forcibly shoved down somebody's throat.
Yeah, not good.
Kind of ekes me out a bit. But this I just thought was really cool. If you go in, they've got a behind the scenes shot on how they put it together. And most of this is all practical effects. And so the way that this came together using toys and stuff, I thought was just done really, really well. So, Jesse?
It is great. The lighting, the color, the angle. I mean, there's you've got the face huggers up on the background. This feels like something right out of one of the set designs for the movie, or a frame for the movie or something. This is phenomenal. Very well done. Love it.
Absolutely. Mike, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It looks like it's a photo of the set of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And once again, I harken back to the last comment I made. It's amazing the talent within the community, whether it's photography or what have you, painting, whatever. But it's amazing how well that everybody, especially these photographers, are at their craft.
Yeah, and I would challenge everybody to just go out to this Instagram and take a look, because I was looking at it a second time to make sure I wasn't saying anything wrong. And I'm pretty sure that 100% of this is practical. Like, as I'm looking at the thing, the behind the scenes, a lot of times you'll have, some practical stuff in front, and then you'll have like an LCD monitor or something in the back. It looks like all of this was put together, and like he's just got this big giant setup that he did for this, and it is fantastic. So I would encourage everybody to go out and take a look at this thing, because it's pretty impressive. Brad?
It's like if your first glance at it, you're like, oh my God, that's AI. But because that's how freaking good it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I take that as a compliment, because it's freaking amazing. And I agree with you, Curtis. I don't. I like Predator, not so much Aliens, but I don't know if it was just as a kid I had I just happened to walk into the room right when the guy got split in two at the end of the movie of Aliens, and I was like, why was the white milk coming out of his body? Like nobody could explain it to me, and I'm like, it took me like 10 years to find out like later like what was going on until I actually figured what was going on, because everybody's like, oh, it's just you're too little, you know. Yeah, and then I think I watched some of the movie and they must have cut out the part where, you know, they're forcing stuff down your mouth.
Sorry.
So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but this here is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful shot. And yeah, I guess Trevor says he's got like a whole setup and that he's an Aliens master. So there you go. So check it out. Especially if you are into Aliens. Yeah, check it out.
I will say, if anyone ever gets a chance to go to Big Greg's house, Big Greg has an alien display, and actually Greg needs to bring it up higher. It's like it's on the last shelf over in a corner. He has like an abundance of aliens, and it's funny because I think he has Alf in the middle, like with a gun trying to shoot all the mouth huggers and stuff. So it's a great scene.
Very cool.
But yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah, Greg's display is ridiculous. All right. This is one of my picks as well. So we must be at the end of Jesse's. So
I must have missed one.
Oh, okay. I actually saw this in a few different places. So my understanding is First Strike Figs is the one that took this photo. But it's obviously using some Savage Crucible figures. It's also using that new Detour Customs boat. So I saw it in all three places. Like it was just hitting my Instagram right, left, and center. I had it on. It was on Detour's Instagram. It was on the Savage Crucible Instagram, and it was on this one. And I just thought this was an absolutely beautiful shot. Well done. It really highlights not only the figures but also that boat from Steph. And man, he just did an amazing job on that boat. If you haven't seen it yet, he's got them up on his website right now, detourcustoms.com, and they're only $100, fully painted, ready to go, everything, $100. He'll also have them at shows for the rest of this year. So, yeah, it's pretty spectacular. I would say, you know, by the end of the year, everybody needs to own at least one of these. But if you get three,
they come already painted.
Awesome. Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I got one. I didn't realize it was painted. It hasn't arrived yet.
Yeah, it's fully ready to go. So, and then the ends on it, like that dragon head at the end and stuff, that comes off. Like you can take it off if you want. So, like if you wanted to buy like 3 of these and put 2 normal ones without that attachment at the end, and then put this one in the middle as like, you know, whoever the captain is or something, like you could do it as a fleet of them. It's just super cool. But I thought this was an awesome shot. Love the, you know, just the way that they've got the light kind of peering through the clouds, and the whole thing is just really spectacular. So, Jesse?
Yeah, I don't really know what else I can add. The colors are amazing. The pose is great. The shot's awesome. The boat, the figures, everything about this is aces. So, yeah, it's great.
For sure. Brad, we'll go to you.
Yeah, that boat is sick. And knowing that I'm the first Viking figure, Broder may need himself a boat.
He does. And you know what? When you're doing your little, you know, asking people, you know, Broder or Amir Kaspar, you put that Broder in a boat. I'm just saying it might sway a few people, a few votes. Just might,
boats and hoes.
Yeah, there you go.
You can Broder boat him.
Boats and hoes.
Yeah, you can Broder boat him.
Yeah, you Broder boating son of a bitch. You.
Mike, thoughts on this one?
A great shot, though. Great shot.
Yeah, same. I have no idea how they get this. I would have to think it's a mix between practical and using tools, like the background, but like that water in the foreground, that's all got to be real. I would think it's phenomenal what they can do, and the picture is excellent. I love how one of our community, it highlights one of their products. And then, of course, we have the Savage Crucible figures in there. Excellent. Once again, I mean, excellent pick.
Yeah, it does a good job of, spotlighting, a custom artist, spotlighting a new figure that's out there on the market. Yeah, just great all around. Brian says there will be a chance to win one of these Detour boats in the summer charity raffle in the Cabal. Info coming soon.
Nice.
So stay tuned in the Cabal for a chance to win one of these boats. So next one is one of Jesse's, and we don't know who it is.
No, we do. I just can't read it yet. It's Otaka_BX. It's at the bottom there. It wasn't at the top of the picture.
Okay.
But it's at the very bottom. It says Otaka_BX. I double checked and made sure that was the site it came from. They do a lot of awesome Marvel Legends customs. I just really liked the paint job on this Rogue head, and I just thought it was really cool. Yeah, it's a one of the best custom Rogue heads I have seen between sculpt and paint job, personally.
Well, Jesse, this is an account that I was not following, so thank you very much, and I am now. So, yeah, this looks great. This is it's just really well done. I love the like the blush on the cheeks and stuff. The eyes look amazing, even like the eyelashes and stuff, which is very hard to do on a 1/12 scale figure. Yeah, it looks really great. Brad?
Yeah, the skin tone, the like the contrast, it looks smooth, Definitely agree with Jesse. Probably one of the best rogue sculpts out there right now. Yeah, I definitely like it. I like it.
Beautiful. Mike, we know how much of a fan of superheroes you are. What do you think of this one?
Well, superheroes and women, so definitely not my cup of.
You son of a!
Hey, not a big fan of.
I don't know where you're getting your titties from, then, if you don't like women.
From Brad, of course.
Well, titties, that's for sure. But it doesn't mean I have to be a fan.
There you go.
So beautiful paint job on this. I mean, if you look at the sculpt, how hard would it be to get into those eyes? And those are perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Just amazing.
Nate here says, hard to do with normal brushes, capital letters, but when I get my art by Akerman brushes, I bet I can do this. So maybe Nate,
right,
we'll see. Appreciate the shout out there. And I believe that is it for shelf selections. So
Nice.
Yeah, that is it for the week. So thank you, everybody. I did have Blake sent me this to show. So this is apparently the Legions magazine that we were looking at and Trevor was referring to. So I guess you can order them one issue at a time. It says $15.95 plus shipping. So I guess that's per issue. Maybe there's a subscription. I don't know. But you got the Legendary Barbarian on there. That's pretty cool. So
yeah.
The He-Man one. Wow.
Yeah, looks like it's got this one's got a Photoshop tutorial, some community photos, custom diorama tutorial. So it sounds like some really cool information in there. So
cool.
Yeah, check it out.
That is cool.
I wonder who makes that.
That quote unquote He-Man's the Legendary Barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is.
Didn't I say that?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I thought I did.
I was reading the page and not listening to you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. If anybody knows who actually creates this, I'd love to have them on and talk to them about it, because this is something I didn't even know existed. So
me either.
Toy Mercs? Is that?
Yeah, that's what it says. Toy Mercs Legions magazine. I don't know who that is though. So, but yeah. We'll have to see if we can get them on and talk about it, because that's definitely something I would like to, if there is a subscription thing, I'd like to subscribe to. That'd be cool. All right. Well,
Okay, real
Welcome.
quick. Hold on before
Oh,
we move
sorry.
on. Before we move on.
Mm.
Sig and Cincy, it wasn't because we didn't see and didn't like your pictures. There is just so much to do, and with just 4 or 5 pictures each, we're pushing an hour here. So yeah, there's no way for us to get everybody's stuff in here. But we, yeah. So no,
I can say that
yeah.
I probably did not see your thing, because if I did, you would have known. I would have commented on it. So if you didn't get a comment or a like, then I probably just didn't see it. So, but that's, folks, that's the thing with Instagram. The more awesome people that you follow, the more awesome your Instagram becomes, and they don't, send you those targeted BS that you don't want to see. So, so yeah, follow these folks and go from there. Let's see. Joe says he's been on the Clubhouse before. Ask Oz. We will do for the Toy Mercs guy. So we will ask. So yeah, we try to not let anybody kind of make it every week. Now there are some people that we've had on a few times because we're like, just something's just so good we have to throw it up there. But we try to let some new folks in there. Yeah. And Cincy John, that's not true. You're not a nobody. You're somebody. Yeah, everybody's somebody. So,
and you have our old Indians head coach now. I mean, you got Terry Francona pitching and down.
I gotta say, I'm looking at your page. I know I'm following you, but I can't say these have come up in my algorithm. So I'm going to intentionally go through and like a dozen of your pictures tonight. So
there you go. There you go. Jesse is going to stalk you now. So I hope you're happy.
You could be in the basement. Could be in the basement.
Hey, listen, if you take Superman photos, if you take Indiana Jones photos or Thistlethorn photos, you're probably going to get in. I'm just saying. And I'm a sucker for any Mayfex, really. So you do
better, Ohio boys.
Yeah.
This is live.
This is live. Welcome to the Legion's Lair. Yeah. So, guys, how you been?
I am great.
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
So there's a lot of stuff been going on. We got a looks like a new wave coming out next week. What are your guys' thoughts on this wave? Are you excited for it? You have some predictions on what we're going to see?
Oh, I've been keeping low on this one.
Yeah,
'cause I like to be surprised.
Gotcha.
So I try not to go too deep into it. I did read it, and it does sound intriguing.
I don't read, but I did have Darla read it for me.
Yeah, so that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that's even better.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it does sound very intriguing, very excited. So looking forward to that.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like, they're the picture that they got, it's got a sign with some blood dripping down, and they're talking about monsters and slaughter and parts being strewn about. It's a little bit more gory than we normally get from Legions. So yeah. Mike, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're taking it to another level, which I think is good. Not only for the lore, but the line itself. I'm excited for it, just because of the little bit they gave us. Because what is this monster? Okay, why is it doing this? This is 2 years after the Dark Four is gone, and you still have the 5 pillars are still around. So what's going on? I do believe that if their big parts tooling waves are going to be G-Con, then this probably will be more of an Ashes type parts reuse wave. But who says that G-Con is going to be mythic? Could be cosmic, but I don't necessarily. I think we'll get a cosmic in August. Once the Ox Crew 1 comes out. So I think this will be the small mythic wave, and G-Con will be the big one, because they're still told us that, next G-Con we're going sailing. They said that right on your guys' show to end Mythic Weekend. But this couldn't make me happier. I mean, this has like Predator vibes to it, where the monster's killing people. I love that shit. So I just hope the monster they give us, badass. I don't want it to be one of those things where, up on the screen, the last thing they show us is like Thistlethorn's brother,
boy.
with like a sword, and he's the one doing all this, or Snitchel.
Let me interject real quick. Wait, let me say something real quick. I 100% agree with you. I love Thistlethorn. This is not where we need to expand his story. 100% agree.
True.
And if it is the monster is a fuzz monk, I think that means Mike's gonna have to put respect on the fuzz monks in the future.
That just gives someone worthy of Scapular's hunt.
Very
Just saying,
nice.
if they're that intense that like heroes from the 4 legions of light have to go stop it.
Well, I'll bring something up to you. I'm very interested on how much they're going to reveal in this wave as to what happened over the last 2 years. So what I mean by that is Scapular still alive? Is Atlas still alive? We know the Dark Four is gone. They've been defeated, but have they been defeated, or are they sent back to the prison realm? Stuff like that. Where are the 4 beasts? Great beasts. I don't know how much they're going to give us of that. If they do give us a little bit, it would be really cool.
Now, I will say though, if we look at the picture, it does show the blood and everything. But if you look, that is snow, right? So
I think Trevor put something. There was a little bit of a teaser where he had made a post or something showing that he was messing with some snow. Like he had,
I saw that.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, it gets everywhere and all this and that. So I think his photos are going to have quite a bit of snow in it.
So, and I'm thinking, so maybe this is something with Bjorngar. I don't know, because it's, icy up there. Maybe, I don't know.
I think they're way north in the Northlands. The way I see it is, come G-Con, they're going to explore the 5 pillars. They're going to go out. And this is like a pre-game, because we've never been to the Northlands other than, Viking, I think, is the farthest north you got. So
you get a confirmation from Trevor, there will be snow.
So we're going to need a bigger blower,
Would you say winter is coming?
Yeah. You might say that. I'm with Mike that this feels like it's going to be a wave with a lot of reuse. That said, they have a tendency to reuse things in ways that make them look like they're new, right? So, we've got certain things that they've already revealed that we don't have in hand, like the Cackler, like Bodvar, like Leodicius, right? So, imagine, if you will, and I'm just throwing stuff out there, but what if you took like a Cackler, like top, like a torso and arms, and put it like on the Leodicius lower legs, or you put like, is Bodvar, can any of his parts mix with something else? Like, I don't know. I just feel like, even though it's going to be a lot of reuse, I think it's going to be presented in a way that we haven't seen before, and definitely painted in a way that we haven't seen before. So it's still going to be really freaking cool. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parts that they've shown over the last year and a half or so that we don't have in hand yet. And so if that comes out, it's still going to be really awesome.
Kurt says Bodvar hybrid scatback.
Yeah, I mean, there's also parts from Figure Obscura, from Cosmic Legions. You know, can any of that be mixed in? You know, who knows?
And we've got to remember with the Ashes wave, there was new tooling in that.
Oh yeah,
I stuff that they had tooled earlier on
that we just hadn't seen. Yeah,
using, and we would be fools if we thought Eric Treadaway sculpted the bear, but didn't sculpt a polar bear neck and head also at the same time. I think that would absolutely, he would do something like that.
yeah.
If they extend the neck to make it a polar bear, that will be enough to make me happy.
Yes, I mean, you'd have to.
For a polar bear.
Eric's not going to put a polar bear head on a grizzly bear's neck.
Yeah, it's not going to just be a simple repaint.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Well, is there a way to put the bear's head on a ogre scale body and make some sort of minotaur bear werebear creature?
I don't frankly, I don't know, because we haven't got the Bodvar in hand.
I mean, Bodvar's head just pop on an ogre? I mean, I don't know.
One thing that I'm really hoping for, that I've been hoping for a while, but they talked in here about kind of assembling some of the greatest hunters and stuff. I've never liked the crossbow that they have. I think the crossbow, I don't like the way that they have to hold it and stuff. I really would like something that has like a kind of a trigger crossbow thing, and something to like what Mike said, like what has happened over these last 2 years, like what technology has changed in terms of weaponry and stuff. Like what have they changed in that stuff? So I would love to see some new weapons. If we do get an ogre type character, for gosh sakes, get rid of that stupid ogre spiky handle that we got on every ogre all throughout time. Like give us a new handled something, right? So the weaponry is kind of what I would, I feel like from Necronominus on, we're starting to see these weapons that are kind of more to scale. They're very brutal looking. And I would like to see some new cool weaponry. I think that would be awesome.
Well, as figure wise, I believe it right in the little snippet that they give us on it, that it has really everything in there. I think you're going to get the band, you know, your Lord of the Rings band, your Fellowship or whatever,
Adventure Party
going up. It'll probably be 5 figures. There might be another one of these hunters meeting up with them, becoming part of their band, and then you're going to have the monster. Now, will this hunter that's up there, will he ride a polar bear? Will this polar bear be a monster? Will it even have a polar bear? It'll be interesting. But I think you're looking at a 6 to 7 figure wave, and 5, you know, you're looking at 5 of the venture group from the middle of Mythos, the Castle of Four Sides. You're looking at maybe one of these hunters from the north who's part of them, and then you're looking at this monster, I think.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesse, you know, I know we've been playing the, you know, Legion's Quest for a while, and you know, everybody knows there's this mythic RPG that's going to be coming out at some point that they play tested last year at Legion's Con. And I've heard some people talk about like the way that this story is kind of unfolded that they've teased. It really feels like a D&D type party that's, you know, going to have to fight some sort of monster, which is a typical D&D encounter. What are your thoughts on that kind of line of thinking? And how do you feel like, if that's how this plays out with an adventure party and a monster, how does that then lead in potentially to the RPG down the road, you think?
Wow. I think D&D is a background of almost everybody within the community, especially the studio. So I know Jeremy Gerard loves the idea of adventure groups.
Yeah, he's done a
I
couple
think
specials. Yeah, where he's done it.
because of the D&D background. Now, will this then turn around and can go into the game? I mean, they've got to solicit the game at some time, probably before, after this, and before before
G-Con?
even before the Cosmic Wave comes out.
Mm.
Because I mean, they have to get Ox Crew 3 out sometime this year, I would think. I'm thinking August. So will this directly kind of go into the game? I think that would be pretty cool.
Jesse, thoughts on this and possible tie-ins to at least getting people thinking of adventure parties and stuff like that.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a really fun idea, and I know that the like Jeremy and the Horsemen, like they will market stuff to, but like not so much has ever come across that has been so directly cross promotional with the next thing. At least in my experience, or I could be 100% wrong. I'm not saying it is one way or the other, but we've been doing those adventure party photos that I think Brian from Carver is the one that kicked those off, right? Or at least has been doing it the last year or so.
I don't remember who kicked it off at the first. I thought it was the dude from Chris Con, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure who started it all.
Right, but I think Brian kind of picked it up to run with it last year. And it's definitely a thing that is, as much as Star Wars and Star Trek kind of runs the gamut through, people who are sci-fi fans. I think D&D and Lord of the Rings are, part of the DNA of fantasy. And, some of the original figures in Mythic Legions were based off of or inspired by original designs from D&D and everything. So I don't know. I think the adventure party kind of aspect that they put into the story definitely suggests it could be that way, but yeah, I don't know.
I think back to kind of Mike's point about what Jeremy has done on his show. I know he's had a few examples of adventure parties that he's put together, and typically when he's doing that, he goes, kind of like, well, I want one big character, and I want a female, and I want a spellcaster, and I want a fighter. Like, he's trying to get these different types. So if we know that the four forces of light, right, if they're all sending somebody, do you feel like that's going to play into that, Jesse, that we're going to see like different types of people that maybe normally wouldn't work together, but because
for sure
they are?
Because with the it says the story that they showed so far, the little tease, that there's each faction is sending like one of their best that they feel to deal with this. So Convocation of Basilia, logically you would think that's going to be your spellcaster, is probably going to come from there. Your ranger or someone who's more good in the woods is going to come from Zylona's flock. Your kind of bold leader tank character is probably going to come from the army of Laodiceas, and then you've got your healer, cleric, support character to come from Aetheron. And then, let's say, since they're going north, why wouldn't the House of the Noble Bear throw a character in, and you'll get your big kind of barbarian berserker type character that way.
Or what about last year during Ashes was a big tribute wave. What about a couple of these figures being tribute figures? Maybe an orc, maybe a fuzz monk. Could that go down?
Tribute or like a version 2? Is that what you're talking about? Like
No. Tribute, meaning maybe an orc, maybe the Unevitable.
Oh,
maybe
Jesse and Curtis tribute.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well,
don't do that. Don't give me hope.
Well,
yeah, don't give him hope.
Listen. Last year during the parts reuse wave, they really did a lot of tributes, and this company loves to do this for our fans. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tribute or two within this party. We'll see. Just something to think about.
We would like
totally
some
makes sense.
clarification here, Jesse, because Trevor says they didn't say from every faction, which you didn't say either, because we didn't mention House of the Noble Bear or Sons of the Red Star, which
I did mention.
unaffiliated. So
I didn't mention Red Star, but I did mention each of the factions, the heroic,
okay,
purely more heroic factions.
but they did say from the four sides.
Castle of four sides, assemble a small party of heroic adventurers and sons of. Yeah, so okay, it doesn't say that.
So
it's
it could be heavily
faction,
weighted on one faction or more than another. Like maybe there's two from one faction, and gotcha.
Yeah.
Let me share this little screenshot real quick, or my screen. So this is
weird to me to highlight the four sides if you're not going to send one from each faction. But
right. So this is the Adventure Party 22. This is from 2 years ago, and you can kind of see on the screenshot, maybe, hopefully, if it's showing up there. Let me see if I can biggen it a little bit. So this is like one of his that Jeremy's that he put together, and he's got a lot. Like there's a lot. It's not just a 4 or 5 character, but he's got like a baboon in there. He's got a horse. He's got looks like a human, maybe like a fighter.
Got a leprechaun.
Yeah, he's got a leprechaun. He's got a big ogre guy, kind of a bird dude. So I don't know. I think that it's possible that we're gonna see a weird group that we would say normally we wouldn't expect to see together, but because they have this united, thing that they're trying to identify, like what is the thing that's killing these folks, and B, stop it. I think, we're going to see kind of a ragtag group that'll be kind of fun. So
yeah, I think you're hitting it right on. It's going to be similar to what Jeremy's always liked with his group, to where they're very asymmetric. They're all very different. And you got to remember also, the man loves his help me out, animal characters. Why can't
anthropomorphic?
Yeah. Anthropomorphic characters.
That's what I wanted to get to on the monster or the creature or whatever the antagonist is that, Jeremy has said and Eric has said when he's been on, like he loves doing the monster and the creature, the more, like the less human the better, like is what he enjoys the sculpting of. So I think I personally think it's going to be something that could be a like the tuberculi, where not bones necessarily, but like a pop and swap builder monster where it could be several of them, and not just one,
where you can kind of create it to look how you want it to look.
Yeah, you could have different, maybe there's different heads, different hand, different things to make it just all weird. Some sort, because if they're throwing these body parts everywhere, they're not eating them, right? So like they're just killing for the sake of killing.
Well, let me ask you this: going into the monster itself, sentient, non-sentient. If it's sentient, how powerful is this creature? And then how important to the story is this going forward? Is this creature going to be? Any thoughts, any of you, on those thoughts?
Brad?
I have a thought. Or Brad?
Oh,
yeah, Brad, go first.
I'm just, I just hope it's Nessie, really. We're all being true. I just hope it's Nessie.
There you go.
just a killer
Frozen
Nessie.
Lake, no threat.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got D13 making boats, we need a water creature animal, or something, and I think it could be there, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to be I'm trying to still keep it a surprise, but like but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know.
I think it'll be fun no matter what it is, for sure. But yeah, Jesse, you said you had a thought on that.
Well, I think it will have a tie into the story, because you Mike, you mentioned the 5 pillars earlier. I think this is going to be a seed, maybe not a major seed, but a seed, a thread that will get pulled on to reveal the pillar of the North. at some point. Maybe these are early, the most southern things that are being affected by its awakening, a reawakening or something. And maybe Frost is where, or the north pillars where we're going next with the pillars.
I know you had talked about, Jesse, there's like a comic trade paperback that we had read, this Helheim, right? Where, and I guess that's pulled from some Viking lore and stuff, right? Where, loosely.
Yeah.
Where
so in that,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you have at it. You definitely know more than I do.
The main character is based on the Norse, like the Dragor. I'm not saying it right. Draugr is basically like, it's kind of like an undead zombie kind of thing in the more classical folklore of it. But in that comic, this guy gets killed. He's a heroic Viking, and he gets brought back to life by a witch. And he keeps like stitching different body part. At one point, he's got like the forearm of a bear, and he's got like, these giant ram horns and bat wings. Like, he keeps stitching all these. I'm like, man, that's obviously, they're not going to do that exact thing, but that's where my mind started to go, some mix of that and maybe like the Grendel from Beowulf, as a group of monsters and not just one monster, like in the Eaters of the Dead. And, where they're just.
What I like about that, like in that book, like basically they can like take parts from slain bodies and upgrade themselves with those parts, right? So as this story is talking about how there's like body parts thrown around, like maybe those are the ones they didn't want, right? But the other ones they did take because they did want, and they've added them onto their body. And to your point, maybe we're getting something that has like these options where you can like, maybe you got one big brute arm on something, and then the other one's like a 2.0 or something. Like it's, and it's just kind of crazy looking. I think that there's some possibilities there to like see something really weird and wild. For a while, they've talked about how in Mythos they kind of have to, keep to a certain things, right? Like they can't go too crazy. Whereas with Cosmic, it's kind of more wide open. Well, what if by expanding past the Mythos that we know and getting into these other kind of 5 pillar areas now allows them to do some wild creatures that we never would have had, in the years past. So
didn't someone on the Cabal look up what does Einsamal mean?
I didn't see that.
Somebody looked it up, and I can't remember what the heck it meant. It's got me wanting to look it up myself now.
Well, now I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. Somebody looked it up, and it had a meaning, and then we were trying to go by that. Yes, means
alone in solitude, on one's own.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob did that. That was Rob.
See, I thought it was Rob, but he didn't say penis afterwards, so I didn't know it was him.
So what about Figure Obscura? Usually Figure Obscura, parts from Figure Obscura get made, and then they're used in Mythic or Cosmic. What about the other way around? What if they make some badass Yeti type creature that they could turn around and then use in Figure Obscura finally for the Sasquatch?
You could have some of that. I mean, they do reuse some parts in the Figure Obscura. That's we do see some of that, but you mentioning that made me think of Frankenstein's creature, right? Like Frankenstein's creature has a lot of these parts where it's like stitched together and stuff. And typically when that stuff comes out in a Figure Obscura, I look at it and go, where the hell are they going to reuse this? Like, this doesn't even make sense. But the thing that Jesse's talking about, this like Viking lore where this thing like stitches all these parts and stuff together, some of those would work great. So you could potentially have some of that mixed in here, and it would be great reuse of that tooling. So, but we also did just get the Ganesha. Maybe, we get something with that big torso, right, that we've seen.
It's got 4 arms sockets.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to see some awesome stuff.
No doubt.
Be ready, folks.
Well, and they're doing what they're
ready.
it's getting our imagination just running a million miles an hour.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, get their masters at that.
As long as it just doesn't turn out to be like subhuman humans, like just beyond before like Homo sapien. Because that's one thing that pissed me off in that Eaters of the Dead book, the adaptation into the movie, the 13th Warrior. Like it was just, they were just humans with war paint animal skins. Like in the book, they were definitely more like the missing link somewhere between human and ape. And that made it more creepy because they were more animal like. So as long as it's not just people in costumes, I'm going to be happy with whatever they put out.
I think they made it quite clear that it is a monster. So I don't think it'll be, but I mean, you never know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that I pulled from the when Darla was reading me the thing, they did say monster several times. They talked about a grisly visit. Take that for what it's worth. Said it's a nightmare like they've never seen, and that it opens up a monstrous new chapter. So, and they also mentioned townsfolk being slaughtered. So just very aggressive terms and sounding stuff compared to what we normally get. It's not to say that, you know, Mythic Legions has been G-rated, but this really feels like they're amping up like the violence and the, you know, that kind of stuff. So I
think in moderation a little bit. I think the line could use a little bit of it.
Yeah.
You know, the blood, the gore, just, I mean, not full out, full blown, but a little bit. I think
it's very similar. When I was talking to Jeremy on Wednesday, I was talking about like the whole humans and cosmic, right? And there's a faction of people that are like, keep humans out of my cosmic and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I hope they put anything that anybody wants in these lines, I hope that they make. And then if you don't want it, you don't have to buy it, right? Like they're running 4 different lines at this point with Infinite and Figura and Cosmic and Mythic. You're probably not going to buy everything. So I hope that they make every single thing that people want. And if something is not for you, if they make something that's really gory and you're like, hey, that's not really where I want my mythos to go, then you definitely don't have to buy it. But anybody that's been looking for that, absolutely. Same thing with like the double jointed limbs and stuff. You know, they showed that this past year, and it wasn't that they redid everything and they're like, everything's going to have double jointed limbs from now on. No, we're going to incorporate some of this and put some of this in here for certain figures that we think it makes sense for. And if that's not for you, you don't have to buy it. But if it is something you've been waiting for, there's somebody out there that's been staying away from the Legion's line because they're like, man, I just wish it had double jointed limbs. Maybe that's a figure that they go, okay, you know what? This is going to be my first Mythic Legion figure. So yeah, I hope they make everything. Absolutely.
I mean, would you be upset if it was just a bloody polar bear, like a sick ass bloody polar bear?
I'd love that too.
I'd be cool with that.
I mean, because that sounds like really like that could easily be done.
Sorry, Grizzly, not Grizzly. Sorry.
That was more to someone in the comments. Audibly, it sounds the same. Look, you're the one pulling up definitions every other week on stuff.
That's just because I don't know.
Killer snow rabbit.
It definitely could be a killer snow rabbit.
Big rabbit, though.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking of the Great Outdoors.
Behind the rabbit? No, it is the rabbit. Yeah. So there's that. So we'll have that this upcoming week. Another thing that's going to be coming up next year in your guys' state is this Carver Con thing. So I know, you know, you guys had a couple power cons there in Ohio. Seemed like that went really
Suck
well.
it, pal. I mean, what?
Yeah. Seems like people really enjoyed it. You know, even for it being in Ohio, you know, people still had a good time.
It was awesome.
But
it
yeah,
was awesome.
You know, so looks like, you know, I know, you know, Brian had been talking about this for a bit and did all the legwork and found a venue, and looks like he's got a bunch of people signed up. And this is in your guys' backyard. So what are your thoughts on this whole Carver Con thing?
good for Brian. I'm so glad he did this, and I'm so glad everyone stepped up and are getting tables and going to be at this event. And I'd love to see this event be successful and just continue to be successful. Would I like for there to be a PowerCon? Yes. Again, did Val say there would be if some certain He-Man movie was made, and I think it was funded. So he does owe us this now, but we're not talking about him. We're talking about Brian. So he's going to have to work around Brian's schedule the way I see it at this point, because he's taking too long dicking around. So at least we know Brian is saying, hey, this is where it's going to be at this time, at this day. We can all mark it into our calendars, and we can all, show up and meet up and hang out, because where we're going to go is a nice little area. And
how far is it from you guys?
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Okay.
I think Mike's a little less or something.
Yeah, it'd be less for me because you'd be about 2 hours, 20 minutes, Brad.
I think last time we left, it was I think it was actually under 2 hours.
Okay.
Like an hour, 50 minutes or something. But yeah, still, it's not that bad, and it's a straight shot,
Yeah.
Have a straight shot. So it's clean down there. We like it, and I know it's a more college atmosphere, but it's a great area, The times that we've gone down there have always been great. So we're looking forward to supporting him, and we hope everyone else definitely supports him as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
He's coming. We want that place
plenty
packed.
of vendor space still available. So yeah, reach out to Brian.
Yeah.
Talk about a man with big balls.
Yeah.
His balls probably are bigger than Broder's titty pauldrons. And here's what I mean when I say this. Doing something like this is not easy.
No, definitely not.
And it is a risk too. But it's his dream, one of his dreams, and he has support from his family, and he's gonna do it. It's very admirable. It's cool. And I want to see this nothing but succeed.
Yeah, there definitely should be good lighting there. If there's not good lighting, we got a problem. So
Brian, that could be a good opportunity to make some huge ass props.
Said that. I told him, I said, you should have actual torches going down the fucking walkway.
Yeah.
So, as soon as people walk in, yeah.
Huge,
maybe not with actual flames, might not get past the fire code with that, but like the ones that he does, but big scale for sure. That would be awesome.
Some big ones coming into the event with some.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
I know a guy.
I can see this con becoming the major mythic con in Ohio within a matter of 2-3 years.
No.
It was PowerCon. I think Val has dicked around so much. I'm not disparaging the man. He has reasons in all this. But I do believe that Mythic's going to go the way of Carver Con. And I believe 2-3 years from now, it is going to be one of the major Mythic cons in the Midwest.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, let's face it, once PowerCon left California and went to Ohio, it was really being driven by the Horsemen, right? There was other vendors there. There's a lot of folks there, but from everything that I've heard and everything I've seen, the lines, the people that were waiting, the people that were there all day, it's because of the Horsemen. So if, now that event goes here, I think this makes it even harder for Val to pick up back in Ohio. Without Mattel backing him, I have a hard time believing that PowerCon's going to be back in Ohio. I would see it either going back to California with Mattel kind of backing him and because of the movie and all the stuff like you're talking about, or he's going to have to tag on with somebody else's con, kind of like what we saw this past year. Because I just don't see it having that draw if the Ohio Mythic crowd is going to this event.
And that's what blew me away about PowerCon is that everyone lined up huge ass line lined up to get inside the con, and everybody goes over to the mythic table. Like everyone outside the con are there for the Horsemen. And that's why I think I was surprised that Val went all in on some of the wrestling people, because I not to say they're not popular or whatnot, but like I just don't think that was the right decision.
I think a big mistake that he made was all that second year in Columbus.
Yeah,
All the con exclusive
all those wrestler exclusives that like they didn't send.
Yeah.
It was
had a tweeter head, merman head. I mean, you had so much, and if those things don't sell, you're going to have a real problem.
Here's one thing that I'll throw out there. This is just my 2 cents. You know, I don't want to sound like one of these guys that's like in the cabal telling the Horsemen how they should make their product and stuff, right? Because who the fuck am I? But here's just my 2 cents. I think it'd be really freaking smart if Val and Brian got together and said, "Hey, let's do this at the same time. Let's do a big giant event. Now you've got the He-Man side of it, you've got the Mythic side of it, and you know, if there's a movie and you get some other attractions with that, maybe you get some voice actors, that kind of thing. Like it could be not a big Mythic event, it could be a big just event, right? So
True.
So
I agree with Curtis. I think that would be good. But like Brian's saying here, his event is completely different because it's mythic.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And what's kind of cool about that is, I mean, you think about it, like everybody came for the mythics. Everybody came, you know, and they weren't even getting customs.
Yep.
They're coming for the mythics. And they don't even have an opportunity to see customs or purchase them.
But think of like these other shows. Think of like Toylanta, right? Or you know, any of these other ones where, yeah, people are going there in our community. They're going for the mythic stuff, but while they're there, they also collect Joes. They also collect, you know, Valaverse. They also collect this, you know, AWOC and all this kind of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's one of those things where it makes it even you know, cooler event in the fact that you can shop all these other things as well as hang out with your mythic crowd and do all this and that. So I just, you know, I think it would be great if they were able to do it together. That being said, I don't even know if Val is even interested in doing a show anymore. So
yeah,
but it is what it is.
Kind of stuck at this point because with the movie, and I mean the big flick. I mean the McDonald's were involved in it.
The
Kickstarter. He said. He did. He said that if this fund's going to have just a He-Man centered Power Con again. He didn't say where, but he said it's going to happen. So
I agree with Curtis. If Horsemen are coming, you know,
they can only go to so many places, right?
Yeah, they can't. Yeah. They don't necessarily need to come back to go for the PowerCon thing at that point. And if PowerCon's the only one bringing in, or the Mythics is the only thing bringing PowerCon money at that point, yeah, combining would be great. I just want to see Brian do his own thing, be successful. Like down the road, yeah, if you wanted to go meet up with Val and go do a big convention center in Columbus or something crazy, you know. Do it, have at it, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, for all the faults of, you know, PowerCon over the last couple of years and not knowing if it's happening, all this and that. I mean, Val still has certain contacts. He still has certain, you know, insight into the industry and stuff that definitely could help as well. So, but I guess my real question for you guys, I really want to pose to you, because, you know, each year when January comes around, I've got to, you know, go and, you know, present something to my boss that I never thought I would do, which is asking to take vacation in New Jersey. Right. And like, who would have ever thought that New Jersey would become a vacation spot? Do you think that Carver Con can make people want to go to Ohio? I guess is my question.
No doubt.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I see that. All I see is that PowerCon. I'm like, they just have to come for Brian's.
People come to Ohio because Ohio's the heart of it all. Ohio might be the greatest state in the union. It has the greatest sports team, and it has the Legion's motherfucking lair.
Well, Kentpool was asking how close is the venue from the next state. I think he's maybe thinking about staying in another state and just driving in for the day and then driving back out, so he doesn't have to stay the night.
An hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
From what state?
Pennsylvania's the closest.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Now you guys have done
Virginia.
You guys have done a couple shows for the Horsemen, like some street team event type things. I know you did the statue con and stuff. Do you guys have anything on the radar for this year that you guys are working on with them for street team type stuff?
No, we probably won't ever be asked to do a street team again. I mean, we were. Don't get me wrong. We were as successful as we could be at these places. Even the last one, I think. And, nothing against Jeremy, but I do think that obviously the two cons that we were involved in were like I explained it to Mike. It's like going to a refrigerator convention. That's where we might as well have been because nobody.
It's just that different.
I mean, and you would think, oh, statues, it's similar, but like I had a few YouTubers, and there you are. There's YouTubers walking around StatueCon with millions of subscribers each, and like they're big name people, and I don't know who they are, but they're big name. And I watch them come down with their little gyro things, and they get to us, and they're like, doop, and just like turn it off. And then they walk over, and then they go right back to the statues and just started recording. And I was like, dude, like he didn't even record our shit. Like it was like not even up his
skipped right by you, huh?
Like he was just like, oh, it's not statues. What, $500? Not for one figure? Not on my list. And just straight like walks by. Oh, I see you have a troll there. Yeah. And then it's like, okay. But they're rough, man. They're rough.
I did want to pull this up from William. He said more presidents and more astronauts have come from Ohio. Well, there's a reason for the astronaut thing, and that's because when people are born in Ohio, they want to get off the planet. They want to get away that bad. So
you were born
in Ohio, man. Stuck in Ohio.
I'm doing this for Kent's benefit because I was actually born in Ohio. So FYI, guys. Yeah.
And Jen loves to give a shit next to Ohio.
Yeah, I was born in Lima, Ohio. So
Ohio is pretty cool. But going back to the two cons we did the Cleveland Gaming Classic. I might be wrong with the title.
What's the name of the Cleveland Gaming Classic?
The Cleveland Gaming Classic, when we did that, we did it with Christopher Michael Olson, who's head of Neotac here, and he collaborated with Jeremy, and we were actually the first street team. So they wanted to see how this would go. When we went up there, you had probably 60% of it video game, 40% of it action figure oriented. So it wasn't horrible, but it was a shock to see the small amount of activity that was around our table for the day. But it wasn't surprising because we just had Carver Con a month before.
Oh yeah.
And everybody in Ohio that wanted Legions just got their fill.
They loaded up, huh? They were bringing their wagons.
So it was hard for us. It was a little disappointing, little hard. We still sold.
We still did well. I walked upstairs and I seen a line that was pretty close to a PowerCon line. And I came downstairs real quick and I looked at Mike and I said, dude, we are about to be fucking bum rush, dude. Like there is. And they just came down the elevator and they're just coming from all the doors and they just came and they just like went right past us. They're like, and only like a handful of like the real Legionnaires from Ohio, like Carlos and Tristan.
I can see you guys just as these people are coming towards you, just be like, "Oh man, we're about ready to get hit," and they go.
Well, what was crazy was eventually it got to a point where like you can't walk in this place, like it's just stuffed and it's huge. I mean, we're in a huge IX center, so I mean it's a big place.
So
everyone walked by. Me and Mike both lost our voices because nobody knew what
figures we sold. We really had to pitch the product. And
let me pull up this comment real quick because I think this is important. Rob says he has a friend that works at Sideshow, says he went to StatueCon and spoke with someone that sold him a Cosmic Legions, okay, which is probably one of you guys. Yeah. Now, think about this. At G-Con this past year, the Horsemen announced that they're going to start working with Sideshow, right? What if you guys were the catalyst to make Sideshow want to work with the Horsemen?
Well,
and now that Sideshow is going to be making statues of the Legions figures, that's a perfect tie-in for you guys to do an event.
As much as we would love to take credit for that, me and Mike were sitting there. We probably know which guy you're talking about because one guy did come over and he bought 2 alien figures.
Remember, I bought a Walter figure that the guy wanted, and I just gave it to him. Gave it to him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the figure that's in question. But do you want to tell them the story?
So what happened was Mike, before the guy from Sideshow came over, Mike is saying, "Dude, what if Sideshow made some Mythic Legion statues, and they started with faction leaders like me, Scapular, Atlas, and really, like, he's saying this, and I mean, like, maybe 5-10 minutes go by, and a guy from Sideshow comes over and he's talking to us, and he immediately starts talking to us as if we were some big wigs at.
You are the Horsemen.
Like we're horsemen.
Everything.
He starts spilling the beans on all the Sideshow shit that they're doing with Mythics.
Like Eric Treadaway.
And Mike was just sitting there like this, going, "What?" He's like, "Oh yeah, you know what's going on. We're going to be doing this and doing that."
So we didn't say anything, and of course we kept it secret for a year, or maybe 5 months.
Yeah, well, I walked up to Jeremy Gerard at Legions Con. This was after G-Con, after he had just announced it. It was later on that day. I walked up to him and I said, "I just want to let you know, me and Mike could not sleep for the last 5 months holding this secret in. We thought that we literally thought it'd be years down the road, and that like we were just but we didn't realize it was going to be this soon that they were going to reveal that. But it was an awesome story, and it was cool to be there and actually like." Because at G-Con, I'm looking over at Mike like, ha, 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 it's happening.
Here I was trying to credit you guys for it, but
I mean, we'll take credit. We'll take credit.
We may or may not know who they're going to do first, too.
Wow!
We will never say.
You know,
say that.
Let that be a lesson to anybody watching that Mike and Brad can definitely keep a secret. So if you need to trust somebody with a secret, you let them know.
I said, we did not tell anyone. This was like top-notch secret stuff. You know,
I do think that Jeremy trusts us, and that's a reason why he had us at these 2 cons.
For sure.
I think Jeremy didn't think we were going to sell very well. That's why I said he sends us to these refrigerator conventions, because they're like test shot dummies. They're like, he's like, "I don't know about this con, Mike and Brad." And he sends us there. And it's great. We love it.
He knows we're so stupid that we're okay going to these bummer ones and still being happy as hell.
You have a great time. Yeah.
Had a great time. And we did. At both of them, we had a great time.
Yeah,
so, would I want to do it again? I would love to do a street team again, but I would love to do a street team at a Legions-centered con, or a really action figure-centered con.
What you're saying, Mike, is
a little bit easier.
If the Horsemen come to Carver Con, we could possibly help.
Be a street team.
There you go.
We could help be a street team if they don't want to come that far to us.
And guess what? Someone's going to be retired. summer.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, somebody's gonna be looking for a side hustle here in a bit.
Well,
Right?
I'm toying with the thought that once I retire, I want to get a hold of everybody at Carver Con and just let them know, what do you need from me? What do you need? I can help. Let me know. But right now, I'm not able to do that quite yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta bank that overtime to get those average hours up, right?
Yep.
Jen says that she could host a party at her house if people are going to Ohio. Just saying. So
Nice.
there you go. Everybody's staying at Jen's house. So no
We had
hotel
a
rooms
small
necessary.
mythic meetup last year. We made tacos here at our house, and I think Jackie and Chris Durant and Stoats McGoats came, and some other people, Carlo and whatnot. And it was a good time. So those little intimate meetups are always good time with people.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, it should be a fun year. I know Blake was saying here earlier, like in May next year. Where is it? Okay, yeah, May. You're going to have the West Coast meetup again. June, he's doing a Pacific Northwest thing. I don't know where that's going to be located. I don't know if he has the details on it yet, but I know he's running a event for the Pacific Northwest, and then July with Carver Con. So yeah, it's going to be a busy year with some back to back Legion-esque events. It'll be a lot of fun.
And I don't think they could have picked a better person than Blake.
Dude, Blake's so good.
To be their representative out in that area. That dude is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really genuinely good dude.
Yeah, we can't talk too nicely about him though. We mentioned this on Friday night on OffWorld, but we're trying to like keep his self-esteem a little low. He's like that really hot girlfriend that doesn't know that she's hot. So we're trying to like make sure that he kind of has lower self-esteem. So he keeps coming back to OffWorld. Like if he realizes that he's better than OffWorld, he's probably going to go to one of these premiere shows.
Well,
yeah.
I got to tell you, the man spent how much time in the military? Then the man spent in country, law enforcement officer. I don't know the years on everything, but he has my eternal gratitude and respect for doing both those things. Because
and now he's working in logistics, which is my field. So I like that as well. So
you know what though?
Awesome.
I'm hoping that I can do something this year. It's a challenge for myself. I'm hoping that I can stay up late enough at Legion's Con. I want to stay up so late, kicking it and partying with all you lovely people.
Yeah.
That by the time I go to bed, Blake is walking down to go to the workout room, and I just say, "Fuck it, let's go, baby." And I just go in there with him, come by with Blake after I've been up all night drinking and smoking and doing all the good stuff with everybody. Dude, I'm there. Let's do it.
He's talking about doing his mythic workouts for anybody that wants to join it. The problem is that he says he's going to go in there at like 4:00 in the morning or something stupid, ridiculous. I'm like, dude, ain't nobody waking up that early to go with you. So it's going to have to be like Brad's talking about, somebody that's still up, that is not so drunk that they can't even stand on a treadmill.
What time he went to the workout? I'm thinking, dude, like, that's when I went to bed. Like, there had to have been a time where I was passing you at one point.
Yeah.
Like, you had to be like, I'm like, he's like, probably.
I don't know if you guys
he opened the window and scaled out the building.
Did you guys hear my story of being an idiot seeing Blake in the workout room? Did I tell you that? I don't know if you guys heard that.
Never heard it.
So Darla and I ended up on the first floor. So when we got there, we had the room that we had was like the 2 queen size. And we're like, hey, can we just switch it for a king size? Because, there's people that want the multiple beds and we don't need it. And so they're like, yeah, but you're going to have to take the first floor. I'm like, whatever. We don't care. First floor. That's fine. So we were right across the hall from the little workout room, the little gym thing. Okay. And the one morning I'm coming out and I look over and I tell Darla, I was like, did you see that? She's like, what? I was like, there's a set of fucking twins in there, like in the workout room, working out next to each other, like on this, like right next to each other on a treadmill, right? And like they're identical fucking twins, running on the treadmill. So it turns out there's just a treadmill with a mirror next to it, and I thought there were two Blakes. It was Blake in there, and I thought there was two of them, and it was just the one guy with a mirror, and I'm just a moron. So yeah. But I was like, yeah, there's an identical set of twins in there working out side by side. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So
Ken says, let's do some laps in the pool. Did anyone ever check out the pool?
No. Apparently there is one, but it's been like closed down for the last 2 years. So,
Okay. So
I don't know.
yeah.
There is a pool.
That's what I've heard. I don't know.
Mike,
I've
it's
heard
literally right behind the fire pit. The little
I heard it was behind the fire pit too, like on the other side.
That room right behind the fire pit.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first year they had it blocked off, and I kept saying it has to be finished this year. So I actually brought my trunks last year,
Mm-hmm.
and then we never talked about it. Like nobody like.
Yeah.
I guess it was.
Two Blakes would be a great movie. That's true.
Oh my God. That's hilarious that you sell the mirror and thought it was two. That's good.
Yeah, dude, I had to stop Darla. I was like, you gotta see this. It's crazy.
Like, I will do a Legion's Con detox seminar.
Nice. Yeah. Blake's gonna be trying to work out, and Brad's gonna be like, you're doing so good, man. You're doing so good.
I know.
Keep it up, man.
Dude, no, that's not true. You know Blake's gonna be on top and be like, push, damn it, push.
No, he's gonna be like,
all night.
he'll be like, Brad, just stay really stiff. I'll use you as the bar.
I know. He's just like pumping me like, ah.
He's just benching Brad.
He's like swinging my legs like in the Conan movie, like, ah. I'm sitting here like this, like, ah. My legs up.
So, all right, guys. So
There you go. I can do that.
couple G-Cons in a row. You guys got to go up front, right?
Oh.
And obviously we know about the not this past G-Con, but the one before where you guys got your tributes and stuff. But I want to go back to the one before that, right? You guys are going to intern, and like nobody at that time, up until that point, they hadn't just brought people up to present and stuff, right? Like the only people that had done anything like that was like the My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me crew, because they kind of got special access the year before, but they weren't just like pulling people up there. And they bring you guys up at the end to close out the show, right? And you're doing like the final character, like the main character of the wave. Necronominus, and he's so freaking metal, right? Like he's just like looks like he's right off the cover of a metal album with those soft goods and the headdress and stuff. The first time they bring you guys up there to do that, what is that experience like? What was that?
Well, I'll let Brad go first. Unless you want me to go first, Brad.
To be asked is like a real high, and obviously Cornboy asked us. I was by myself at the time. Well, I was with a group of people, and I had thanked Cornboy for bringing the ice cream truck outside for Eric's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything was going on. I just thanked him. I said, "Man, I love you, man. I appreciate everything you do." And he just said, "Well, hey, how much do you love me? You want to go up on the panel?" And I'm just like, "Damn, I do, Daniel, you son of a bitch."
Wait, there was an ice cream truck in 22?
Yeah, I was ready to go. I mean, he could have said, just go up there and like interrupt Jeremy at this point. Just go up there and interrupt and go. I'll be like, "I do it, Daniel, get out of the way." But yeah, I was real stoked to go talk to Mike about going up, because I didn't know that he had been asked yet. So I was ready to go get Mike to see what was going on. But it is a high like none other. And then you're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're going up. You've been asked, so now you know you're going up at some point in the next hour.
Jess went up that year, correct, Jess?
Yeah, Jesse was up there too.
You went up.
Yeah, I went up with Jeremy DeWitt. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And which figure did you present, or were you up there for?
We were up there for Maxilius the Harvester.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's an awesome one too. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, talk about a boner.
And I got to crack out my my thick legions joke on the
There
show.
you go.
You know what? I got to tell you, when Maxilius got revealed, I was thinking, you son of a bitch, you did it. You son of a bitch, you actually did it. I never thought they would make a full skeleton. The man is an absolute phenom genius.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to him about it, and it's just like, well, I knew I could do that, but
He's
just
modest.
different and I'm just like, oh my God, man, this dude does not know how talented he is, or he's the most humble person on the face of the earth.
Well, and I don't think that any of us realized how much work that he puts in behind the scenes, not only just on the sculpting, but he mentioned in that G-Con too, how going into it, if he was going to do a bare bones skeleton, if he was going to do a skeleton horse, he wanted to make sure that it made sense, that it was, correct in the way that he was doing it. So he did research on every bone in the human body, on every bone inside of a horse, and put all that into play. So when you see like that headdress for Necronominus and stuff, and it's got like all those like bones going down, like finger bones or whatever, and just like there's just so much detail in that. It's so awesome. But yeah, so you guys get up there. Now, did you know that it was going to be the last figure?
I wasn't paying attention, so
Okay.
I wasn't thinking it was the last. I assumed someone else was coming up after us.
Okay.
And it wasn't until like the end that I actually started to realize, like, wait a minute, this is like the hoorah. Like we're not just doing one figure, we're doing two figures. And it was insane.
From my perspective, for them to want Brad and I up there for probably the most iconic skeleton, and I'm a huge skeleton fan. It's all about the skellies.
Mm-hmm.
For us to go up there, want us up there for that reveal, the end of the Dark Four, the most iconic skeleton, they gave me the thrill of a lifetime. And then they turn around the next year
and top it.
and not only top it, double it, triple it. I mean, and you don't see something like that come. You really don't see something like that coming, especially with how special they made it for my figure. It really was touching. It really was special. The studio is so good to the fans. This studio has been so generous and so good to me personally that I could never thank them enough for what they've done, because they have really made a very shitty time in my life special.
Yeah.
Special.
I mean, we've had the luxury of the last, couple Legions cons closing out the show with a live show, right? And when we do that, and we bring people on, right? We park there next to the bathroom, and people are like, "Hey, I'm just trying to pee," and we're like, "No, you're coming on here and talk first." And that year we were pulling people on, and we were asking them like, "Hey, give us one of your most memorable moments of the week," right? And there's a lot of stuff. Like you go through the intern, there's G-Con, the Legions Con, you like buying from vendors, the exclusives, hanging out with people by the fire pit, all this kind of stuff. And like most everybody there mentioned that moment, Mike, about you being up there and getting that figure. They're like, that was the coolest moment of the whole week. And it was just, it was very telling how much that it hit you, how much it meant to you, but it meant that to everybody else too, because like everybody was like just so freaking over the moon for you,
Yeah.
It was just super cool.
Well, they probably my favorite character in all of IP would be Scapular, the Crypt Breaker, and they made me part of him.
Yep.
That oh my God, that's just like, wow, who does that? I'll tell you who does that. The greatest action figure company out there. So
that's how they get you, though. They trick you. They make you feel comfortable. So anyone that may get a tribute figure down the road, remember this. You're nervous. They make you feel nervous, and then they want you to feel comfortable. So the second year, me and Mike went up there very comfortable. We've done this before. This has happened. Like, we got this.
Old hat. Yeah.
We're doing it again, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
run it back. Yeah.
I
was,
remember. I remember Jeremy coming up to me the night before saying,
yes.
"We want you to come up and present a figure at
Yeah.
G-Con." And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, Scapular. I get to introduce Scapular version 2. So I look at him and I go, you know what figure we want to introduce? And he just smiled at me and walked away. And I'm talking to Brad, I'm like, now, how blessed am I to get to reveal Necronominus
Mhm.
and now possibly Scapular, and then they just did what they
probably
did.
two of the most important skeletons in the line, right?
Yeah, I would venture to say yes. So just a thrill.
They did the same thing with Greg. They brought Greg up.
Yeah.
Greg's like, "Oh man, I'm just happy to be up here, dude. Yeah, woo!"
Yeah.
And then it's like, "Wait a minute, I see my name flash before my eyes across the screen, and while you're trying to capture your thoughts, next thing you know, you realize you have a tribute figure, and you're like, what the hell is going on?" And but yeah, that's the thing. The first year was an hour before. Now it's a night before. Like, but we were okay. Like, we knew we were going up. We were fine. Like,
we've done this before, no problem. Whatever.
And like, at least I know now if we were asked to go up, like, okay, we're done. Like, they're like, they've gotten enough. Okay, like,
it's Broder version 2.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Broder. And
2.
You know what? Brad and I probably would be remiss if we didn't single out one person, and that would be Jeremy Gerard. Because when it came to the tributes that we each got, the tribute figures, that was primarily the brainchild of Jeremy from the book.
Well, at Mesquite Con, I said,
Jeremy.
Well, at Mesquite Con, I saw Brad was there, Treadaway, and shits and giggles. I walked up to Brad and I said, "You want to know what? I'm not really Broder Bjorngar. It's you, because Eric Treadway is your brother." So, and he goes, "No, it is not me." He goes, "It is you." He's like, "My brother, no offense." He goes, "But my brother wouldn't make me a barbarian." He goes, "He'd make me something that that's me, you know." He goes, "I'm not a barbarian." He goes, that's not my thing." He's like, "That's you, and that's your thing." You know, I was just like this freaking guy. Like, I love the Treadaways. Like, they're freaking awesome. Like, they're good people.
I mean, and the thought that goes into those tributes, right? The fact that they, they know the community enough to know what would be important to you and what like makes sense. It's not just a tribute for this. It's not like they just create a figure and they go, well, we'll just slap so-and-so's name on this, right? Like, there's a lot of thought that goes into that. And it's, it's not something you see other toy lines doing. It's not something I think even other toy lines even care about. Yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
Oh, sorry. Just wanted to say, we got a super chat from Blake.
Blake.
Playing right into what you were just saying, Curtis. Sorry, I was so focused on that. You were in the middle of something really nice. But he's adding on, this community is amazing, all caps. Wake up daily thinking how blessed and thankful I am to have you all in my life. I'm proud to call you all my friends. Heart emoji.
Likewise.
Right back at you.
Yeah. Amen, Blake.
But
Dusty here says, my first time on the Lair, when they asked what I'd like to see, I basically described Broder as the figure I'd like to have, and it ended up being Brad's tribute. So there you go.
Mine was the first figure revealed, and I've said this numerous times on the show. So when they revealed Broder, it was the first figure revealed, and I immediately went to Greg's tribute scenario from the year before. Greg looked up, he sees his name somewhere in the thing. I see Broder, and the first thing I thought to my head is, if you take out the O and put an A, you got Bradder. You know, that's just kind of like what I thought. You know, and I think that's kind of cool, Bradder. And to find out later that was my figure was really cool, because that stuck with me, and I really thought that was a cool Viking.
What? Go ahead.
They say that reveal to the end too with Scapular, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, before they brought out the mirror.
Yeah, the thing that I thought was awesome about that, so in that moment, so you get you get Mike up there, they show the scapular and stuff, then they tell the story. You could see Mike's getting emotional, like anybody would, right? Like Mike is like, dude, this company is so fucking amazing and stuff. And Brad's looking over at Mike like I'm so fucking happy for my friend, right? He's just got like this look about him, like, dude, I'm so fucking happy for you. This is great. And then they're like, oh, by the way, and then Brad's like, what?
I was getting emotional for Mike, so like I was trying to hold back the tears.
Right.
Mike was getting emotional. It was making me get emotional. I'm super happy for him because I'm like, he's actually getting recognized. It was like the movie Goodfellas. Well, not I like Goodfellas, but like when someone's getting made.
Yeah.
Not that Mike was getting whacked, but like we thought he was getting made. We were thinking he was getting made, and like you're happy for him. Like, he's a made man now. Like he's in the community.
And that's kind of what you were talking about. They then bring your defenses down, right? Because now you're focused on Mike and what his feelings are, and they're like, oh, by the way, Brad. And then they just jab it in you.
They're like, oh yeah, Brad. Remember the first figure? And Broder means Brad and Viking. And I'm like, thank God the screen was this little on the YouTube at the time. I thought it was huge. I don't know why I thought it would be like this. Everybody was watching me and Mike cry, but it was very small. So thank God.
Greg says, Q, don't cry, breathe.
Yeah, Greg told me about that when he was.
Greg did well. I folded. Me and Mike kind of folded a little bit because no one is deserving of it. First,
no.
So when that happens,
they don't have to do stuff like that. They want to.
Mm.
That's what makes it so special. At the Necronominus G-Con, up until we went up and presented. We didn't know it at the time, but when Greg got that tribute figure, that made my G-Con right there.
Oh, it was,
Get that. But then they had us come up. It was like, wow.
It was cool to go back. I actually got to go back to Greg's house that night.
Yeah.
So that night, me and Noah Pratt got to go to Greg's house to see his collection. So it was kind of an awesome time to ever go to Greg's house. Is literally the night he gets his tribute figure.
Yeah.
So it was like a double high for you.
Oh, it was great. So after Greg locked me and Nate,
I think Greg got double high too.
In his toy room.
That's what I meant.
How Jesse locked Cornboy in the basement is how Greg locked me and Noah in his toy room. Was like, you will look at these. And shut it. But no, we were in there. We were having a good time. It was something else. Greg, we actually went out and watched the YouTube of Greg's part. Definitely.
Yeah.
And we watched the part where Greg got his tribute figure on YouTube on his big screen, and it was cool again to watch it again with Greg at his house. Like it was something.
That's a new double jointed.
Yeah.
Greg's always.
I want to add something real quick. Mike, you were talking about how the Horsemen, gave this stuff. This is back a couple minutes, and provided something to you during a difficult, crappy time in your life and everything. And I just want to say, I think that's a really cool thing that they always say, they try not to suck. And, while this community overall is so big and, when it's so big and it's so unmanageable, you get some people and that aren't as cool as other people. And I mean, cool, I mean like nice and understanding and part of the community. But that said, the whole like leading by example passed down. Cause like you getting that, because I see that from both of you guys and Curtis, but specifically you guys being the guest on the show, the way you guys have like given back to the community between doing your show and bringing people on to like show off their lairs and all that stuff. Like, I know I've told this story before, but like you picking up a Fuzzmonk or the Thistlethorn at PowerCon that one year and then asking me if I got one. I was like, no, I left it for someone else. And you just gave me yours, which is one of the last ones they ever sold. And now that hangs over my not working fireplace with the test shot in my original box, my first figure, Thistlethorn, that Curtis got me at Legion's Con, just getting to come over like and crash in Brad's house and that whole thing going out to that first PowerCon and waking him up in the morning and just awesome. How awesome this community is.
Sliding into bed with him.
Well, I didn't do that. I stood out awkwardly in the hallway because
Yeah, but we heard you did.
Jesse was he did walk upstairs, but I think Jesse was afraid to come into the room. But
walking into other people's, like, married people's bedrooms is like a thing. Like, they have to invite you in, which sounds weird.
No, I think you're thinking of vampires.
Like,
no,
I know,
like, as a kid, I couldn't walk into my parents' room. Like, I couldn't just walk into my parents' room.
Mm.
I know Greg's voice, and I think it was Brian Almeida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So Brian, I heard their voices, but I was sleeping, and I hear their voices as I'm waking up. I haven't even opened my eyes yet, and I hear Greg and Brian's voice. And of course, Brian's like, "Wake up, Bradley, you little bastard."
Oh, I was videotaping. That's right. I had the camera.
He was videotaping.
That was me.
That was great though. I remember waking up, and that was like one of the happiest I ever woke up, was like being surprised like that with your friends ready to go to PowerCon. Waking
I
up
didn't get that part on camera. I was live streaming in the Cabal, so family friendly.
How happy were you?
But no, good time. Those are great memories.
Did you have Morningwood?
Not when I heard Greg's and Brian's voice, especially Brian.
You hear about people pitching tents like outside of the stores before an event. Like the new PlayStation.
As soon as I heard Brian's little voice, I was like, "Damn you!"
But I mean, Jesse does make a good point, though. I mean, like you said, Mike, like there's nobody that like deserves this treatment that you guys have gotten and other people have gotten from the Horsemen, but it's just something they do because they care, right? But that being said, if there were people that deserved it, like you guys have been doing this for the last several years, where you're highlighting people in the community every single time that you're doing a show, right? Like you bring these people on, you ask them questions about why they're collecting this, what their favorite things are, what things they don't like. You're seeing their collection, and you've been doing this the whole time. Like it's you see a lot of the shows do this, like kind of leading up to Legion's Con, kind of spotlighting people, but that's your whole show. Like you're spotlighting people every single show. And it's just pretty amazing. I mean, it's where I got my first, time on screen in this community, and several others as well. I mean, we've gotten to see some amazing collections, except for the guy that like kept all his stuff in the boxes with the file cards and stuff. That was creepy as shit. But
really good dude.
It was very organized, and he's a very good dude. But that was like
a very long episode. That was like,
wow. But we've seen some amazing collections, man. Like Blake's, when Blake was on there, he was showing you guys his thing. Cullen's, dude, I didn't think Cullen's was gonna end. Like Cullen has.
Cullen said he could go for hours more.
Dude, it was crazy. But yeah, you guys have just done a great job of just highlighting folks and like introducing people to the rest of the community. There's people that otherwise maybe aren't as outgoing and that kind of thing, and they get on your show and they open up, and it's people are like, "Oh wow, I like this person. Like this person's cool," and yeah.
Well, we also, I mean, obviously we've had big names on our show, but we like to highlight the little guy as well, because that's who we look at ourselves as. Like,
well, and to be brutally honest, when we get people on we don't know very well, that's that's probably the shows I love the most, because I get to actually sit and meet someone new.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's always good to meet them, or even it's great to even have these shows, because then people get to know one another. So if you do get to come to one of these meetups or a con or Legion's Con or a G-Con or whatever it is, it's great to finally put a a face to somebody that you've been talking to or seeing, and you actually get to meet them in person, and then it's like it just brings it full circle.
And this was originally our plan, because 4 years ago when we started the Lair, you had Mickey Customs, and of course Jeremy, he was part of the studio, and he came from the customizing aspect of it. And then you had Legion's Lounge, who photographers, they came from the news side of it, photography side, just about everything. So when we started a few months after the lounge, we decided we're going to be focused on the cabal, the community. What we wanted to do was give people a platform to get to know other people in the community. So when they go out to the cons, I remember you. I remember you, and they can start talking and start the friendships up. And I think over the 4 years that Brad and I have built up a core group of people who just would never miss the show.
For sure.
I think. And it's been weird moving from the cabal to YouTube.
The whole StreamYard not working with Facebook thing, at first I was upset about. I was like, man, this is just, it's the best thing that could ever happen to you guys.
True.
Your show is so much better on YouTube than it was allowed to be in the cabal. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that photograph that we were looking at earlier, where we're like, yeah, it's a great photograph, or a great photo, and it's great art, but maybe not the right place for the cabal. You guys really had to kind of like reel yourself in a bit when you were on the cabal. YouTube, you're yourselves. Like if we see you at a show, the people that we see on YouTube is the people we see, at a show as well. And I think it's just so much better. You guys are so authentic, and I think the show has just gotten so much better on YouTube.
Well, obviously the technical difficulties, which was funny because the first season or two, that, like Curtis has said before, that was our show. Like
it was all about the tech. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all about technical difficulties.
Like Brad starting off on his actual Facebook rather than in the cabal.
It got to the point where like Lauren kept doing it because I was like, here, you just hit the button. So me and Mike can sit back here. It's very simple, but like the way she was doing it, she was doing a shortcut where that shortcut wouldn't allow her to do that. Like she'd hit the button and I'm like, what do you do? Because it happened like 3 weeks in a row. And it got to a point where I'm like, show me what button you're hitting. Show me what you're doing. I'm like, no, don't do that. Like actually go into the cabal and actually hit like you're going to do something and then hit, live recording.
Well, you had early on there, you had two people with the passion, but not the knowledge. Mm-hmm. And that was I think that was the draw. It did while we were in the cabal. It kind of brought a nice flair to the show because you were always going to get technical difficulty.
Yeah,
going to have laughs that way.
Oh yeah,
and
we got to learn the Arnold voice.
Yeah, very much. And I've said this a million times to a lot of people. I'm very much the one on the show that keeps us going forward. But the show actually is Brad and his comedy. So,
you know what, Mike? You're going to get fucking knighted right here. You son of a bitch. I'm going to knight you right now.
When you have two people that can play off of each other, and you guys know this too, it really makes the show really cool. When you have two people with very different personalities, it really with you and Jess or Jess, you guys, very different personalities. It really makes the show. So
yeah, I think you guys fell into a really good routine because you can see as you're watching it now. Michael, you're like staying very engaged with the guest, and Brad is kind of keeping an eye on the comments and making sure to bring up things that are relevant and throws in the quips and stuff. It's just a really good dynamic to where you're keeping the thing flowing to whereas somebody that's on the screen, you feel like you guys only care about them. And as somebody that's watching and you're in the chat, you feel like you're not being ignored either. Like you're part of it, right? It's a whole live event. It's not something that you're watching recorded. And so, yeah, you guys just have a really good flow about it, and it really works for sure. So I did want to pull up a couple comments here. Joe says, They need to get me back on now that my internet's fixed. Listen, Joe, I was one of the early on in the first season. And if you go and watch dude, you can't see shit in my collection. It is so bad. It is like the worst. Dude,
you don't have to watch the whole episode, but just go to our YouTube channel and check out some of our old season 1 first episodes where Lauren had posted those on for us.
Dude,
we've
it's
come
rough.
a long way.
It's rough. So there's some of those early season 1 folks need to have them back on there to see their collection and stuff. For sure.
And when did you guys kick off starting it? Was it January 22 that you kicked off?
It was actually we just got back from Legion's Con and G-Con 2021.
Yeah, early.
So was that G-Con is when you started?
Okay. Episode was I think December of 21.
And it's interesting because when we got back from Mythic Weekend 2021, it was Poxus, and we just met so many good people from Carlos, the Immortal crew, to you can basically look at the enablers.
Yeah.
I mean, just everybody, Nate, the Michigan guys, the list goes on and on. Him and I came back from that experience on a high. I mean, we were like, unbelievable. I did not know a community like this could exist, people like this. And I think on the way back, I said, you know what? It's time for us to start a show. And Brad was like, whoa, I don't know about that. I kind of forced it on him because I came over the one day and I said, I'm going to take my phone and we're going to get on the Cabal and we're going to show them your lair. We're going to show them your Legion's lair. And I'm going to say, let's see how it goes. And still,
is that the first time that you came up with that name? Is that in that, or where did the name come from?
The name actually
Hello.
love for the Legion's Lounge.
Yeah.
And my love for Dork Lair.
Okay.
So kind of combining those two, but it also came from the initial, when we did Brad's initial thing.
Collection, yeah.
When it collected, we wanted to show off his Legion's lair, his Legion's aka collection. And Brad still didn't want to do that night. And I said, dude, I'm turning it on. Let's roll.
Mike actually held my phone and went around every shelf in my room at the time, up and down, everyone, not just Mythics, everything. And then I think I stood by you and people were commenting. I think at one point there was like 40 or 50 people watching. I'm like, I can't believe people are actually wanting to watch this shit. I was like, why? Why do they want to see this? Like,
well,
really? I was hoping that Mike would show my collection and be like 2 people watching. I'd be like, see, Mike, nobody did this.
Brad's secretly hoping it'll fail.
But I kind of was, and I was like, oh my God, there's actually people watching us? Like, seriously? Like, they're asking questions? They want me to answer this?
You see in that video, you see how comfortable he gets as the video goes on. So he's telling us about his collection with his comedy.
I mean, he's a naturally charismatic person. So yeah, as you get past kind of the nerves of the situation, then his personality comes out.
And then the next thing you know, Walter Hagen's on with us.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, can I come in with the show? And I'm like, oh my God, the admin guy's wanting to come in. It was as bad as I told Mike I bought something off somebody. I was like, I bought something off some guy named HS or May Hayes or something Mays. He's like, what was his name? And I'm like, I don't know. I have to go on my Facebook and find it. And I like went and I found it. I'm like, yeah, I bought some 7th Kingdom figure off this dude. He's like, dude, that's freaking Corn Boy. You want to figure out Corn Boy? And I'm like, who the fuck is Corn Boy? He's like, and I'm like, I didn't know that. I'm like, okay, well, he's really cool. Like, I've been talking to him. Yeah, things you find out in 21 that
transfer. And I had bought a Brontus off of you,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize, like, when you guys started your show, that you were the same person that I bought the Bronus off of, right?
Yeah, I think it was later you said that. I'm thinking I do remember selling that too. So,
Yeah. Well, and that Bronus actually is with Cornboy now. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
you want to know why?
he was.
I mean,
he
the
was
only
on the
reason I sold it
Legions.
to you because it was missing a chain.
Yep.
And
it
I'm
was
a
missing the
completionist,
chain.
and that's how weird I am.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I can buy a chain, like, because they were going for like super big bucks at the time, and I was like, well, I'll just buy a chain and get this one from him, and whatever. Well, he was, I guess, Cornboy. This is a little over a year ago, probably a little over a year ago. He was on Legion's Ladies, and he was talking about how he's always loved Bronus, like one of his favorite characters. And he was a huge Thing fan growing up, and he just wishes that he had some like fur shorts for the Brontus. And Darla heard that immediately. She looks over at me. She's like, I'm making fur shorts for a Brontus for Cornboy. And I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever. So she goes to start making it. And I'm like, well, here, you can use mine, to fit it and all this kind of stuff. And she made these like really cool, like blue fur shorts. And she even made this like logo that's like a Fantastic Four logo that Velcros onto the buckle, and then you can unvelcro it, and then she's got a Four Horsemen one that you can put on there instead. So it's still a 4, like Fantastic Four, but it's the 4 from the Four Horsemen. And so we, rather than just send him the shorts, like it was already fit really well on there and stuff, I was like, you know what? I don't know if he's got an extra Bronus that, he would want to put this on. We'll just send him the whole figure. And so, yeah, that is now with him now. He actually brought it up to Legions Con this past year and was showing it off. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it's been around.
Yep. It's made its rounds. So
now, yeah, that's so funny. Now, if I remember correctly, Cornboy's #1 figure when he was on our show was Brontus.
Yep.
What was his number 2?
Ooh.
Capulon.
Oh, you know what? You're right. You're right. It was.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who
Blake says Legion's Lair is an absolute institution in the community. Brad and Mike are fun, supportive, and bring Legion's community peeps together. Couldn't agree more. So,
thank you.
Awesome.
I mean, even my bio says it, right? My bio says I help Atlas. I'm a help leader. I try to, assist people. I try to, try to get that win for Atlas.
Like letting them suckle on your pauldrons and stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of milk there, man. A lot of milk. Mother's milk.
Well, now
Bjorngard milk.
It's thirsty in the north, Yeah.
I'm gonna start a bar right there in Bjorngard called Broder's Nipple. Yeah.
If they will come out with a figure obscura that has some sort of milk jug or something to go with your figure, oh my God, that would be fire.
There you go.
Fire.
Well, guys, we're well over. Normally we kind of start wrapping up around the 2-hour mark, but we were having too much fun. So but this has been great. You guys, you have a show not this week, right? Next week?
Yeah, the 8th.
Okay.
Yeah. Not this Tuesday, not 2 days from now, but 9 days from now.
Your last one was with Arthas, right? That was
No, that was with Old Man Kyle.
Old Man Kyle.
Oh, Old Man Kyle, that's right. Yeah. Old Man Kyle was great. That was funny.
Look, you can't let them off the hook yet, Curtis.
Oh, are you hot seating them?
You started this tradition, and even though it's an embarrassment to me,
oh fuck yeah! Guys, I almost forgot.
To do this.
I am so first off, I'm surprised that Jesse reminded me.
No hot.
I'm also elated that Jesse reminded me. Okay, guys. So, not sure if you've caught this, but there is a story about how Jesse at a movie theater booed a wedding proposal. Okay. So, guy was there with his, girlfriend and her parents. Jesse was there with some friends. Guy goes to propose and Jesse booed him. So I would like to hear your version of how that story played out. What was going on before, during, and after? What led to Jesse booing a proposal, and what were the ramifications?
So it was at a movie theater, correct?
Movie theater before the movie starts. So it's not even the previews.
What movie it was?
Ooh, that's a
You
good
get
question.
to make up the story.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to make up whatever
Yeah.
story, but I think it is important, Jesse. What movie was it?
It was Fun with Dick and Jane.
There you go.
Fun with Dick and what the hell is it?
The Jim Carrey and Taya Leone movie.
So this actually happened?
This 100% happened, but we want you to tell how you think it went down.
Okay, well, I know how it went down.
Oh,
Well,
go ahead, Mike.
let's hear it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Jesse goes into the theater. Oh, this man worked so hard for so long. And all he wanted to do was see his Dick and Jane movie. I think that's the title. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Fun with Dick and Jane, yeah.
Fun with all he wanted was fun with Dick and Jane. And Jesse's like, I'm not going alone. He pulled out Thistlethorn, put Thistlethorn in his pocket figure for the day as his date. He gets in that theater. He has popcorn in one hand, soda in one hand, and jujubes in his pocket. He goes to sit down, but he forgot that he moved Thistlethorn from his front pocket to his rear pocket. Sits down on the seat, just elated, is excited that he's about to see this movie with his favorite figure. And he has all these yummies. And he hears a snap, crackle, and a pop. And he immediately jumps up, knows what happened under the weight of his wonderful behind. And right at that moment, a proposal one aisle down was happening. And Jesse yelled, "Boo! Oh no! Oh, why'd you do it? Why'd you pray? Why'd you do it?" And they thought Jesse meant them, and they were pissed. But Jesse brought out in his hand Thistlethorn, not in his components of 30 pieces, but in powder. He was reduced to powder under the weight of Jess, the jujubes, the Coke, and the popcorn, all combined together. Still to this day, it's rumored whether the married couple ever found out what the truth was to the booing that happened. But it is rumored that they are now divorced because they couldn't get over the fact that while this important proposal was going on, another human being would boo their happiness. Wow. And I think that's how it happened.
That is pretty powerful stuff.
Can I comment?
You can comment whatever you want. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to do that. That is somehow makes me feel way better about myself and way worse about myself at the same time.
I just want to know.
It makes me less of a piece of shit and more of just a fat shit. That's all I'm going to say. So thank you, Mike.
I just want to know where the sword horseman ended up landing.
Brad, we heard Michael's version of the story. Would you like to tell your version, or are you satisfied with Michael's version? You think that's
yeah, Arnold has a version. I know I should have went before because Michael's was just way better than mine. It was spectacular. He went into great detail. Michael, he knows how to tell stories. He's a great lore. He knows how to write it biblically and all that. He's really good. But this is what happened. Jesse, he was short on a little bit of money, but he needed to see the movie. Jim Carrey, goddamn you. So he goes there. He has all his change. He goes up in there. He puts out. He tells her, "Here's all the change, lady." They tell him to pick which seat. He pitches what seat he wants to sit in. He goes up. He goes to get the popcorn. The popcorn is like $11 for a fucking small. He's like, "Damn you, lady! I only have a 20, and I want to get the jujubes and the little nerd clusters that are banging off the shelf right now." So he gets all the food. He gets the pop. He gets his Mountain Dew. He goes in there. He is ready. He has done watched 20 minutes of freaking previews. Some good shit like John Wick, straight killing people. Jesse is pumped. He knows the movie is coming. Then this son of a bitch gets up, thinks he can propose to his wife, or soon-to-be wife, the little slut, the little cock-sucking bitch. She was down there in the first row. She didn't know what was coming. He gets down on one knee, and I just barrel out, "Boo this man, you little bastard. You don't do that. You don't ask people to marry you in the goddamn movie theater, especially Jim Carrey, you little pansy." And then the guy said, "What do you want some of this?" And Jesse pulled out his little Thistlethorn figure, and he said, "I will kick your ass, you little bastard. I'm from the goddamn flock. What you know, flock, about this?" And the guy said, "I'm going to get security." And he's like, "I do the pump every day. You're going to have to get security because that's what's going to happen when they come back." And then the lady ran out. I never seen him again, and I enjoyed my movie. It was nice. It was nice. I thought the guy was going to slash my tires outside the door, but he never came. He's a pussy. He doesn't want none of this beautiness. Look at
Dramatic.
That is pretty spectacular.
We have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Brad send you guys your hot seat flame retarded?
Oh boy.
Not panties, tighty whities.
I did not get them, but I think I'm good. Right now we're hovering at a solid 68 degrees on the thermostat, so I think I'm in good shape.
Brad, turn up the heat, baby. Turn the heat up. I want to see Thistlethorn and Gorthok just melt in front.
I did want to pull this up real quick. Got a $2 super chat from Eddie. Says Legion's Lair was the first show I watched and loved. So there you go.
Nice. So,
Right, I was there.
one question for both of you: which tribute figure is your favorite? The wonderful, amazing, voluptuous Broder of Bjorngar with his metal love pillow that he loves to motorboat people with, or Emir Caspar / or Scapular the Crippler with his wonderful little A cup bag.
Jesse, you want to go first, or you want me to go first? Or do you just want to boo people?
I've answered this one before, but I'll double down. Sorry, Brad. It's Scapular.
Pretty cool. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool.
So I will say first off that both figures are much better than the Beta Bushati figure for sure.
Oh yeah, talking like you know what? Now you tell
it's a trap.
You know what?
The words and opinions of Curtis do not necessarily reflect those of Shooting the Shelf.
I love both
Yada,
figures.
yada, yada.
I really do. And I'm sorry, Brad. As much as I love your figure, I gotta go with Amir Caspar, the Crypt Breaker. Just too many different options, too many different looks.
Yeah.
It's one of those figures that I need absolute multiples of.
I do have an amendment to my answer. It's not changing it, just elaborating. I will probably buy more Broders than Scapulars.
Damn right.
Interesting. Okay.
Be gentle. I knew you loved metal love pillows. And you're probably going to use the main piece you want off of that
Love pillows.
those beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
booby pauldrons, titty pauldrons.
I can't wait until my figure is chopped down, popped, and swapped with every Viking barbarian known to man. It's going to be great. Love it.
It's gonna be awesome. You do have some awesome boots on your character, Brad.
Yeah.
I am gonna need some of those
the
for
fur?
sure. Yeah.
Boots with the fur.
Yep.
You know, as soon as people get that in hand, they're going on the legendary barbarian.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
If depending on where the swaps are, I don't remember
Yeah.
where the cuts are on it.
I think it is underneath the part of the, I think it's the same kind of boot
Thank you,
cut.
Thomas.
I do have to play this, and I should have played this at the beginning of the show. Mike,
Oh.
this is not about you,
Oh,
but I
this
have to play it because you're here.
the mic.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh boy.
His name was Mike.
Fucking Mike.
Fucking Mike.
His name was Mike. King Mike.
Guys, this was awesome. We so appreciate you jumping in with us. We've never had a takeover of Shooting the Shelf. We've certainly never had titties on the shelf. This was amazing. So thank you for jumping in with us.
Oh God, I gotta show you guys something. I gotta here. You'll love this cup. I gotta get this mug out. This is wonderful. Keep on
I'm
going.
nervous about what's about to get whipped out here.
What is so we know you don't have a show this week, you got the next one. Do you know who your guest is for the next show?
It is Stephanie Workin.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Hey.
You did say that. Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Sweet.
Oh, check this out, guys. I'd go out to the kitchen. Okay.
Kitchen.
You know how in Figure Obscura we get mugs all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Mugs of every Figure Obscura. I think it's high time that we get a Broder mug.
Oh, that'd be
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
Ooh, a nice.
Here we go. Broder of Bjorngar with his titty pauldrons.
That is a sick ass tan line. I'm just gonna say that. That's one sick ass tan line.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm switching my answer to Broder.
Everybody needs a
I
don't know why. I don't. Some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Anything else? Like I said, we already we mentioned your next show, but anything else you guys got coming up that you want to promote or talk about?
Not that I can think of.
Well, we do early August
Mm-hmm.
have our 100th episode.
Nice.
Oh,
And it'll be right around the 4-year mark. And what we're going to do in July here, we're going to reach out to the whole community and ask them to do videos. And we're just going to have an episode like we did at 50, showing people's videos and us just talking about memories. It'll just be me and Brad on doing the video thing again. So anybody out there, if you can give that some thought, we'll probably be starting that mid-July.
Okay.
For people and reaching out to people to make videos. The more, the merrier. Last time, Brad, how many did we get? About 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Very
what
cool.
we'll do. So we want to keep that in mind. And if reach out to us too, if you're like, oh God, I have to do a video.
Do it.
Helps us too. So yeah, that's about it. We just got a milestone coming up.
Very cool. Nice job. Trevor says, I remember our 100th episode. Seems like only yesterday. It wasn't that long ago, that's for sure. Brad, did you have anything else?
No, I actually felt bad because I didn't see Trevor sent a link to the chat for anyone to come on
Oh, for the 100th episode?
Yeah, so
Ah.
I missed out on that. Sorry, Trevor. Maybe you can have me and Mike on another time.
Yeah. Trevor doesn't hold grudges, though. That's fine.
Well, I tell you what, Trevor, if you have Brad and I on, I will show you the new Mythic Legion Cup, the Rotor of Bjorngard mug.
Ding, 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 ding.
There's always a 200th episode. Yeah, on the pace that Legion's Lounge goes, that'll be another 5 years from now. So,
Dude, you know what I'm going to do with one of the Broder figures I have ordered? I'm going to take those pauldrons off and glue them onto her nipples. And then I'm going to take this mug to Legion Con.
Just walk around with it in the lobby. You'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, I'll have my Long Island iced tea in there. I'll say, put him right in the titties, baby.
Go into the bar and set that down and go fill it up.
Fill it up. Well, what do you want? Milk? Of course.
of course. Yeah.
Red cap, bitch.
Just add milk.
The only thing that would make this better if it has holes in the nips. Then anyway.
Yeah, Steph said that like if it was a sippy cup, right? Just have that, like, yeah.
Hey.
Mama. You made me snort. Totally Jesse.
Now you guys got me hot and sweaty.
All right. Well, guys, this has been a absolute blast. We are going to put you backstage to close out the show. If you've got to run, we totally understand. I know we've kept you a while. If not, hang out and we'll see you in the green room as soon as the show's over. So,
okay,
right.
thank you. Thanks.
All right. Peace. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Love
Thanks,
ya.
guys.
That was awesome. You know, nothing makes me happier now than the fact that you have chosen not to tell your proposal story anymore. The fact that you took a stance and you said, listen, I've told this story enough. I'm not telling it anymore. And it's opened up this new segment of our show is one of my favorite things in my life.
Cool. I don't. It's one of those things that I felt like if I had struggled harder against it, it would have been so much worse. So,
yeah,
you know,
man, we got a couple great entries today. I can't wait till we get to the end of the year and we have to pick the best story. It's gonna be hard.
There's no we. That's you. That's all on you.
I mean, these two were really good tonight. G's was awesome as well. Like G's was pretty fantastic. So we'll see who's on the show next week, and we'll see what kind of story they have for why and how did Jesse boo a wedding proposal. So
I'm thinking next week. I don't have guests yet, but I think we might get some easygoing, old friends of some sort.
Sometimes we
holiday
bring a friend
weekend
or two.
I said friends.
Yeah.
Don't do it that way.
Like Chuck Woolery?
No, don't do the back out.
What do you mean the back out? This?
That is a rude hand gesture. Yes, that's fine.
But this is how Chuck Woolery did it on Love Connection. He said, we'll be back at 2 at 2.
I don't.
You didn't watch Love Connection?
No.
That's probably why you booed that proposal.
But
I'm just saying.
Wednesday night on OffWorld, the Let's Go OffWorld podcast channel, even though it's not a podcast, we've got the OffWorld after party. So we'll be going on live shortly after the Four Horsemen wave reveal of the horror of Einsamal.
Horror. It's two roars. It's not just horrors of Einsamal.
It's the horror roar. So
yeah,
like a lion.
Yeah, it's not the horror of Einsamal. We've cleared that up.
It's the horror's roar of Einsamal.
Oh, she yells.
Roars. Like Katy Perry.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and that'll be awesome. You will do a great job. I may be able to pop in. I will be on the road, but I have full confidence in you. You're going to do awesome, Jesse. I'm guessing that Trevor will be on there, right? He's kind of a mainstay on the after parties. Is that correct?
I have no idea who's showing up, but he has been
usually-
invited. David Williams is not. He'll be working. I did reach out to both of them.
Jeremy Gerard, he usually pops in. Did you?
Yep. I did
Sweet.
not message him yet, but I figured you did. But I will reach out to him now that once I create the link tonight.
Beautiful. So yeah, tune in for the after party. Be some awesome people and talk about what I'm sure is going to be an awesome wave. So
you might even say it'll be a cool wave.
Ooh, nice. I've got a couple things, if that's okay. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. I will be on the road this week. I'm traveling to Garden City, Wichita, so I'll probably be doing some travel toy episodes this week. Darla is going with me, which is cool. So I'll have, because the drive tomorrow will be on the road for like 9.5 hours, so it'll be nice to have somebody to talk to. So tomorrow morning, I've got a How They Do That dropping with Tanya McCoy over on the Art by Akerman channel. So that'll be a lot of fun. And for those that may have missed it, I did open up channel memberships over on that channel, $1.99 a month. And the paintbrush set that we've talked about that I revealed earlier this week, you by being a member, you do get early access and a discounted price on that as well. So I just want to throw that out there. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out, and appreciate you. And then we'll see you next week, apparently with some friends. Maybe 2, maybe more. We don't know. Jesse, what you got going on?
The OffWorld show Wednesday night. Of course, 4th of July is Friday, so everybody have a safe and happy holiday if you are in the United States and that's something you celebrate. If you're watching from somewhere else around the world and don't care, that's cool too. It's just a Friday for everybody else, I guess. Saturday is my birthday, and then we'll be back Sunday for our next show with some new people talking. Who knows what we'll be talking about? So yeah.
It's Jesse's birthday next week. All right. Very cool. Awesome.
46.
Youngin. You youngin.
I'm like 2 years younger than you.
That's a youngin.
Okay.
I'm so old that I'm the same age as Joe Gonzalez, and he's freaking old.
And he's also like 2 years older than me.
Yeah, but he's old. Like he acts old. He feels old. I got the gray hair, but he just is like that grumpy old, like mustache, sad face guy. My kids call him Sad Giuseppe. So he's the extra Mario brother.
I think that's a show, folks.
Mario, Luigi, and Sad Giuseppe.
I think we've reached the bottom of the cookie jar here. So thanks for joining us, whether you're watching live, replay. Thanks for hanging out in the comments. I guess the boobies brought all the milk to the yard or something. So until next time.
Titties are on your shelf.
No!